All right, Khan. Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom to the Torah Chaz Yasha Allah. Giving the course, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh. Bahai Shema Mashak Wamalaki Habashah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God Yahweh. In the name of Zombiyan Sani Habashah, this is Brother Yasha Allah coming back to y'all yet another video through the Spirit of Yahweh by Shema Mashak Wamalaki Habashah. All right, Lord willing, all Israel is having a beautiful, beautiful, blessed Shabbat to the Spirit of the Lord. All that's observing it today, Friday, sundown, Saturday, sundown. All praises to the Most High God. I believe the brothers is going to hop on a little later. We'll see, Lord willing, right? But this is essentially, I'm going to just get straight into it, right? This is essentially going into what? Is the woman over the man, right? Is it a 50-50 with the Lord? And we're basically going to be going through the order of the household that the Lord has set up, right? Because remember, we can't do our own thing, man. We can't walk in the sight of our own eyes, because that's what Babylon the Great does. All right, they walk in the sight of their own eyes, and they do what they want to do. Okay, Esau, Esau, he's okay with the so-called white woman being over him. He's okay with that, man. In particular instances, right? He lets his women just lead the whole damn household, right? And they come up with that term, happy life, a happy wife, happy life, man. Well, is that actually biblical? Is that actually in the scriptures, man? Right? Is that in here? Right? Is that in here, man? We're gonna see, we're gonna see what the order that the Lord has set up, from the foundation of the world. Because remember, the Lord is a God of order. All right, let's get that real quick. Let's go to the book of First Corinthians, chapter 14. He's not a God of confusion. And a woman leading the household, that's confusion, and the man just kind of tagging behind, that's confusion. The children ruling the household. You have the man and the woman following their children. That's out of order as well. The Lord set up an order, right? Let's go to the book of First Corinthians chapter 14, right? And verse number 33. It says, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints." So the Lord is not the God of confusion. He's not the author of it. Okay. Right. Now let's go down. Right. Let's go down. Verse 40. It says, "Let all things be done decently and in order." So the Lord said, "Let all things be done decently and in order." And the Most High, He is a God of order. Okay. And so let's see the order that the Lord has set up of the household. Okay. Just like how you have an order, that you have the hierarchy of the angels, of the celestial bodies in the third heavens. You have the Most High God, you have Yahweh Shah, you have the other angels that's below Yahweh Shah. You have the archangels like Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, Raphael. These are some of the four. These are four archangels. That are, if for lack of better terms, the important angels that have a lot of authority and power in the third heavens. Then you have lesser angels, because even these four angels, these are the really only, like, you only know four angels. You only know their names. Only four angels' names in the whole scriptures. All the other angels, they don't mention their names. You don't get to know their names because they're not that important, man. But you know the names of who? Michael, right? Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael. You know the names of these important angels, but lesser angels than they don't even mention their names. Jacob, the at the wrestling of Penuel, right? In Genesis, I believe 27, right? Let's go to that real quick. Genesis chapter 27. Right? Salaki, is it 27? Right? Salaki 32. Right? 32 and 27, I believe. Right? This is the book of Genesis chapter 32 and verse number 28. Right? It says, "And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed." So that's when Jacob's name got changed to Israel, right? Yasharallah, which means he prince God, or he is the prince of God. Verse 29. "And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there." So when Jacob asked the name of the angel that he wrestled with and prevailed, he said, "What's your name?" And the angel said, why are you seeking after my name? It's not important, man. Stop asking me about my name because I'm not important, you know? So even angels, you know what I'm saying? You have a hierarchy of angels in the third heavens. So of course you're going to have a hierarchy upon earth, you know? So let's go to that. First Corinthians chapter First Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3, right? It says, but I will have you know that the head of every man is Mahashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Mahashiach is the Most High. So that's the hierarchy that the Lord, hey, he just summed it up right there. You know, I will have you know that the head of every man is Mahashiach. So the head of myself, the head of other brothers, right, is the Lord, Yahweh Shah. That's our head. You know, that's who we look up to. That's who we follow. That's who we listen to. That's who we be submissive unto is our Lord Yahweh Shah, being our master, being our husband. You know, on other folds, other spiritual levels, right? It says that the head of every man is Mahashiach, and the head of the woman is the man. So the head of the woman is a man. That's who the woman should look up to for guidance, counsel, you know, for correction, for direction, you know. That's her head. The woman has a head, which is the man, either her father or her husband. When she gets married, then it becomes your husband, man. You know, it says what? And the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Mahashiach is the Most High. So even Yahweh Shai, he has a head. Who is Yahweh Shai's direct head? The Most High. And the Most High is the supreme head. He's the supreme leader. Okay? So you literally have that hierarchy. You have the Most High, you have Yahweh Shai under it. Of course, you got the angels. But in this case, we're not talking about the angels. We're not including the angels. Right? So you have the Most High, Yahweh Shai, and then the man, and then the woman. And then you have the children. Right? So that's the hierarchy that the Lord set up. You know, that's the order. Now, if you want to go against that order, then you will be going off, right? You would have to be corrected. You would have to go and seek out the scriptures and receive correction if you want to go contrary to that order that the Lord set up. You know, because let's go to the book of Isaiah. That's what's happening now. People are going against the order that the Lord has clearly set up, man. Right from the foundation of the world. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 3. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 3 and verse number 11. It says, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. Here's the point. Verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. You see that? So the Lord said, as for my people who's going into Israel, right? Israel, right? It says, children are their oppressors, right? Sometimes you might have the children even leading the household and ruling over their parents, man, you know, and telling them what to do. You know, the children shouldn't be. They're not supposed to be in that position to tell their parents what to do, what not to do, this, and that. Huh? The Lord already set up that the parents should be over the children. In fact, in the book of Sirach, the 3rd chapter and the 7th verse, the Lord said that the children should look to their parents as to their masters, like as masters, man. And our parents are supposed to be our masters, and we're their servants. That's how it works. That's how the Lord set it up, right? It says, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. You see that? So, what do you have going on in our nation? And you even had that going on back then during the wicked times of Israel. You would have a woman compassing a man and ruling over a man when it should really be the opposite way. Because let's go to the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 3 and verse number 15. Right? It says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Going into enmity between Jacob and Esau, right? Verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, because Eve, she went off. Okay. Eve went off, right, and eating the fruit that was forbidden. You know, you can read that on yourself. Actually, we can get into that, and we actually do plan to get into that as well. But you know, before I really get into that, Eve, she went off by eating the the fruit that the Most High has ordained for us not to eat, and that fruit is symbolically talking about that doctrine and philosophy of that particular nation. And the Lord commanded us to not eat of that and not to partake in their customs. But Eve, she did it anyway. She didn't run it through her husband. She just wanted to do what she wanted to do, right? What she thought was good in her own vain mind, and she didn't run it by with her husband. So that's why the man was put over the woman because of that on this physical level, right? It says, I'll greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. You see that? So the Lord said that your desire shall be to your husband. And that's clear. That's a cut raw. That's what the Lord said. Your desire should be to your husband, right? Now let's go to that word desire in the Hebrew, all right? Let's go to that into that word for desire in the Hebrew. All right. Thy desire shall be to thy husband. Right? It says in the original sense of stretching out after a longing desire, longing, craving, desire, man. Right? Stretching after. You know? That's what it says. Desire. Right? So your desire, so the desire of a woman should be to the husband. And that's what the Lord said in Genesis. Right? And it says what? And thy desire should be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Now, does that mean that the husband is just going to be, your husband comes back home from work, kicks down the door, you know what I'm saying? And he's being like a lion in the house. And that means as soon as he opens the door, now you have to bow down to him. You know what I'm saying? You have to bow down for 10 damn hours. You have to bow down and you can't look him in his face, you know? And he'll sit down. Where's the freaking food at? Right? He's sitting down like this. And if the food, right, if the food is not salted right, flips over the table. You know what I'm saying? And he says, drop down, give me 50 burpees now. Right? And he tells you after that, and then he tells you, run a lap around the house. You know? Hey, no, that's not what it's saying. Right? That's not what it's saying. Right? It's saying that what? He shall rule over thee. When it means he shall rule over thee, that's essentially meaning that, okay, that's really what it means. He is your Lord, man. Your husband is your Lord. He is your master, right? In a different term, he is your Lord. He is your head, the person that you look up to, right, and that you follow, right? Not in a master in the sense that you are a servant, but in the sense that look, you have to be, you're a helpmeet unto this man, because this man is a man of the Lord that you're married to, or should be, right? And it says, and he shall rule over thee. Right? Now, let's go to another precept. Right? Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 5. Right? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 5. It says, have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of the Lord and Cephas? So that's a man's job. All right, that's a man's duty. That's a man's job to lead about a sister, a wife, a man. That's their job to lead. That's the Lord. That's what the Lord put. Because remember, the man was given to be stronger, right? The Lord made the man to be stronger. Both spiritually, physically, emotionally, etc., etc. The Lord set up the man to be stronger. All right. Not saying that women can't be strong, but the Lord set the man up to be stronger than the woman. That's why the woman needs a head, right? And also that what? The Lord created the man, right, to have the wisdom and the knowledge of the Lord, right? Because let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, right? Not saying that women or sisters can't be wise or have knowledge. Really, this knowledge is supposed to be given to the man so that the man can give it to the woman, right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, and verse number 3. It says to receive the knowledge of wisdom, or slaki, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. So it says to the young man. Why does it say to the young man? Right? It didn't say young man and women, right? It said to the young man, knowledge and discretion, right? Now, does that mean what I'm not saying that women can be wise, but we have to point this out because that's what it says. It says to the young man, knowledge and discretion, right? To a wise man will hear and will increase learning. A man of of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels, right? Now, whenever you read Proverbs, because remember the scriptures, a lot of times it's masculated. Okay, what do I mean by that? Meaning that really the Lord is speaking to the men. Even when you go into the word for children of Israel, it really says Ban Yasha'Allah, right? In the Hebrew, Ban Yasha'Allah, which means what? Sons of Israel, right? Son of Israel. When it says children of Israel in the scriptures. So it's really, like for example, in Leviticus 11, it says, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, right? That's really saying, speak unto the men of Israel, right? Does that mean that the women don't keep the commandments? Does that mean that the women's not important? No. That's just the reality of the matter, man. Right? That's the reality of the matter. The Lord is really speaking to the man so that the man can deal with the woman, right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, right? Chapter 8 and verse 1. Let me get another precept on that. Right? Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 1. Doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of the high places, by the way in the places of the paths. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the door. Unto you, O man, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. You see that? So the wisdom's voice is really to the sons of man. You understand? That's what the Lord said, right? To the sons of men. Because remember, the man was set up to receive the deep parables, the understanding, the proverbs, the wisdom, you know what I'm saying? The knowledge, the breakdowns, precepts, all that, so that he may also build up his woman, so that he may lead about a sister, a wife, right? That's how the Lord set it up. Let's go to the book of First Peter. You have to understand that the woman is set up to be the weaker vessel, and that the man should be acting as a stronger vessel. All right. And if you don't like that, then and leave the lie, man. Right? If you don't like the sound of that, you are proud Eve, right? You don't want to accept the fact that a man is over you in righteousness, then you can lead a life. And you can go and dive into your own understanding and be led away astray. All right, let's go to the book of First Peter chapter 3 and verse number 5. Right? I'm gonna start at verse 1. I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says First Peter chapter 3, verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands. So the Lord said to be in subjection to your own husbands. As a wife, you might have to ask yourself if you're being in subjection to your own husband, right? Are you listening to him? Are you doing as he says, right? As he says, because if that's your Lord, whatever he says to you in righteousness, you have to follow that. Just like how the Lord, when you study the elect, how the elect follow the Lord and love the Lord with a ultimate passion, man. Right? This unfeigned love that the Lord, that the elect have for the Lord. When you study that, that's how you can become a better submissive wife. You know? Because the elect, whatever the Lord says, every statute, every ordinance, every commandment, whatever the Lord says, God damn it, that's what the elect is going to do. Right? It's no ifs, ands, or buts. The elect's not pouting about going to camp, man. They're happy to go to camp. That's their job. That's their duty. You know, the Lord said to not eat pork. They put that pork down, man. The Lord said to read every day. And guess what? They're reading every day. The Lord said to pray without ceasing. Guess what? They're praying. You know, the elect. They're doing that. They're following the Lord whithersoever He goes. So, and likewise, the women have to be like that. to their own husbands, right? It says, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise. Meaning, if you are a woman and you have a man that may be in the world, like just like how the Lord said in First Peter chapter 7. Right, let's go to that real quick. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 7. Let's get this real quick. First Peter, it's like your 1 Corinthians 7 and verse right, 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 12. It says, but to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So if you're a brother and you have a wife and she doesn't believe in the word, right, she may not be in the truth. Does that mean that you just completely abandon your wife, right? And you just stop dealing with her overall because she's in the world? No, you still deal with her, right? You still can't put her away, right? If she be pleased to dwell with you, then don't put her away, right? Don't leave her. It says, Salakia, verse 13, and the woman which have an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So if a woman has an unbelieving husband, right, he may not be in the truth, but if he's okay with what she's doing, he's just going with the flow. Hey, don't leave him, because that's still your husband, you know. And likewise, the husband with the wife, that's still your rib, right? So let's go back to this. In 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1, what Peter is essentially saying is, it says that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. So what does that mean? That means essentially that you, peradventure, you being this believing wife who believes in the Lord, you're trying to strive to be a Proverbs 31 woman, you're trying to be a virtuous woman, a righteous woman, and you have an unbelieving husband, right? An Israelite, Jake, he may not be in the truth. You can still win him over in the truth. You may still, the spirit that's on you, the fire that's on you may be on him, may actually connect or basically hop on him as well. And he may be won over by the conversation of the wives without the word, without you actually sitting down, or you kind of sitting down with your husband and be like, all right, I'm going to teach you. All right, I'm going to teach you the Deuteronomy 28 whole breakdown. I'm going to teach you how we're Israelites. I'm going to the history, geography, precepts. No, because remember, the Lord said, I don't suffer a woman to teach, man. Nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. That's what the Lord said in First Timothy chapter 2, right? So the women shouldn't really be going through the precepts and teaching a man like that, especially if it's her head. So, but guess what? The women can still teach a man and can still lead him to the way of righteousness by being that righteous example. That's what Paul or Salaki Peter is saying. May be won by the conversation of the wise. Conversation meaning, when you go into that word, it means basically your conduct, how you conduct yourself, and how, because he may see you with the head wrap. He may see you with the head wrap with the fringes. He may see you studying, reading, right? Watching the videos. And then now he's kind of just, okay, I can kind of see that. He sees that you're taking this truth seriously. See, when people don't take their religion or their culture seriously, then you're not taking them seriously, man. You're not taking, if they don't even have the respect or the audacity to respect their religion, then how could you respect theirs? You know what I'm saying? Then how could you ever respect theirs if they don't even, if and they claim to worship or to partake in a certain religion that they themselves don't even respect? You would never imagine yourself to respect a man's religion or culture or practice or belief if they themselves are hypocrites within it. So if a man and a woman, right, because these people in the world, man, they actually pay attention to us, man. They pay attention to how we act and what we say. Oh yeah, you in this, especially our family as well. Oh, you in this truth, huh? You call it the truth, right? You call it being in the faith. Oh, he said you claim to believe in Christ, right? You know what I'm saying? So they're watching you to see if you actually taking this truth seriously. All right. And if they see you taking this truth seriously, then they'll start to have more respect for it. All right. But First Peter chapter 3, verse 2, it says, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. So you want to be wives are commanded to be chaste, right? Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. So that's what the Lord said, that the women should be in a meek and a quiet spirit. A meek and a quiet spirit. How many Eves? Hey, let's just be real, man. A lot of Eves nowadays in the world, they're loud and they're stubborn, man. Their feet abide not in their house. Okay? So the Lord wants the women to be of a meek and a quiet spirit. That is well pleasing in the eyes of the Lord, right? Which is in the sight of God of great price. For verse 5, for after this manner in the old time, the holy women also. You have holy women in the scriptures. Who are the holy women? Sarah, right? Rebecca, you know, Rachel, Leah, you know, Judith, Esther, right? Susanna. You have a lot of holy women in the scriptures. Deborah, who are in order. They were in order. They're chaste, you know. They were virtuous, right? So you have a lot of holy women in the scriptures that our sisters can actually look up to. Just like how you have the men that we look up to. You have Yahweh, you have Jeremiah, Isaiah, hey, damn, they're all the major prophets, all the minor prophets, man. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, how they conducted themselves. You know, we have Noah, right? With their audacity and bravery, man. You know, we have examples as well as of how to conduct ourselves as being holy men, just like how we have examples of women also have examples as well, right? It says verse 6, right? Salaki, I'm gonna read verse 5 again, right? Come on, Shalom King.
Shalom King.
Come on. Verse 5, it says, for after this manner in the old time, holy women also, who trusted in the Most High, ordained themselves, adorn themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, right? Whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. You see that? So Sarah, she had so much respect for her head, Abraham, that she recognized herself or himself to be such, right? She called him Lord. Shout my Lord, man. That's what she said, right? I'm gonna get that real quick and I'll pass it. You know, she called him Lord. You know, a lot of Eves, even in the truth, they just say Shalom King, right? To their husbands. Shalom King. Shalom Malak, right? Why don't you call him Lord? Right? Why don't you acknowledge that he is your head, you know, and that he is your Lord, man? Because that's literally what he is. All right, let's go to that. Genesis chapter 7, Slakia, not 17, right? All right, I'm gonna get this precept real quick. Genesis chapter 18, right? And verse 11. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, am I, it's like, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? Who is she talking about? She's not talking about the Most High God right there. She's not talking about Yahweh. She's talking about her husband. And are you better than Sarah? Right? Eves that watch this, are you better than Sarah? No. Are we better than Abraham? No. So she called her husband Sarah. That's like Lord. All right. And Peter, he's giving a shout out to Sarah for doing that, man. And are we better than Peter? Are we going to say to Peter, hey, you Eves, man, you proud Eves? Are you going to say to Peter, nah, you don't know what you're talking about, nigga? Right? You're going to call Peter, huh? Right? That's off, you know. But Khan, you got it, King.
Con. Yeah, a lot of people gotta understand that our heritage is not like the so-called white men in this Western society. So-called white men says you can only have one wife. They said, equal rights and things of that nature. The woman, she can actually be the head of the household. That's nowhere found in the Bible. If there's a man in the life of a woman, he's the man of the household, man. And the woman ought to reverence him and be submissive. The righteous foremothers, it was righteous. Why? Because their humility and their humbleness and their submissiveness. They wasn't bucking up. Sarah wasn't bucking up against Abraham. Let's get in that account real quick with the brother. You probably already brought this out. This is one of my favorite accounts, man. It's one of my favorite accounts, right? Brother already put it out, but Sarah, she was submissive to do the will of her Lord Abraham on a lower level, because we're all lords on the level, on the lower level. That's why you have a house. You have the master house. I mean, that master bedroom. Who's that for? It's for the man, right? But this is the book of Genesis, chapter 18, and damn man, I'll start at verse 3. I'll start at verse 2. Yeah, I'll start at verse 2. I'm gonna jump down. I'll start at verse 1. I'll be jumping down, and it reads: "And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground." You see how Abraham was himself being humble, even though he was a mighty man. He had spoils of war. He had servants, handmaids, and things in that nature. He was submissive to the Lord. Because why? We're the wife of the Lord, like it says in Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 32, and things in that nature. Right? So we have to be submissive to the Lord like Abraham was, especially you sisters in this thing. You should be, reverencing your husband and stay, not bucking up, trying to throw punches at him, putting your hands on his neck. You got sisters probably, putting hands on his shirt like this, man, putting their back to the wall. You shouldn't be doing that, man. Right? I want to jump down though, verse 3. And said, "My Lord," and said, "My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, and I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that you shall pass on, for therefore are ye come to your servant." And they said, "So do as thou hast said." So Abraham was being hospitable, man. A lot of people not hospitable. When you invite people over to the house, you expect them to bring food for you. You expect them to bring the yan. They come over to your house, you got no food for them, man. You got no water for them. They thirsty. They drove 2 hours to come visit you. You didn't offer them nothing to drink, man. You're not being hospitable. But Abraham said, "Let me do this. Let me wash your feet. Let me get food prepared for you. Let me do all these things for you." And that's how brothers and sisters have to be, man. Especially sisters. You got a man coming home from work, right? He's all tired. He's sweating. He probably worked outside all day, right? He had a long day to boss on him because he's not learning as quickly. And he got to do better unless he get released from work. He had a bad day, man. Had a long time in traffic to get home, and then guess what? Right when you get home, you over here bucking up against him, saying, "Why didn't you do this, that, and the third? The bills have to be paid by this time. You need to get your kids this, that, and third. You need to do this. You need to do that." Like, dang, you didn't have the dinner ready. You over here right when I walk in the door. You have all these problems, but the dinner not even ready. You got clothes still on the couch that been there for 3 days, right? You got maggots in the sink because you didn't wash the dishes for 3 days. You got all these things going on, but now I'm the bad guy because I'm working. I'm trying to provide for my family. You know what I'm saying? So people, they gotta get their mind right, right? Let me see. Verse 6. You said what, King?
That's a lot. I just say I got a precept after you.
Okay, Con. Verse 6, and it reads, "And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth." You see that? So Abraham told Sarah, because Abraham knows he's over the house. He told him, right? He didn't ask. It said, and he ran unto her. So like it says, Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, "Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal." He commanded that. Let's see what Sarah did. Did she buck up against him? Did she say, "You do it, nigga"? Did she get all the flour and things and push it to his chest, and he had to go hold it like this, and he's kind of confused? Let's see what Sarah did, man. Right? Verse 7. And Abraham ran unto the herd and fetched a calf tender and good and gave it unto a young man. And he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree and they did eat. You see, that's what that means. The meal was ready. Sarah cooked the meal. Everything was properly done in order. And that was hospital, man. And that's what we the daughters of Zion have to do. We got to be those daughters of Sarah. And I believe in the Hebrew,
Right.
some says that her name means lady, some says her name means princess, and things of
Yeah.
that nature. No, she's not a queen. Queen is just a whore, and things of that nature. You're a princess. So if you call yourself a princess, you should be doing the things of Sarah. But Con, you got the king.
Right. Hey, that relates also back to First Peter chapter 3. You know, Peter said, "Whose daughters ye are? Like you are the daughters of Sarah, right? And that you are the daughters of Abraham, right? So as long as ye do well, you see that? So as long as you do well and are following after good works, then you're a very well a daughter of Abraham and daughter of Sarah, man. You know." But Khan, just going off what the brother said. Yeah, I got a precept on that, man. Let's go to the book of Ruth, chapter 3, and verse 1. Right? It says, Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, My daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? And now is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose maidens thou was. Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. So Boaz, he's winnowing barley in night, right? He's working. You know, let's go to verse 3. Wash thyself therefore and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, and get thee down to the floor. But make not thyself known unto the man until he have done eating and drinking. You see that? So hey, Naomi already knew what's up, right? She said, Don't make yourself known unto the man. Don't make yourself known unto your husband until he have done eating and drinking. You know, sometimes you might have to let your husband, right? If you're a wife, right, you might have to let your husband, when he comes back home from work, a long day, Esau yelling at him, spirit being vexed, you know, his back hurt, feet hurt, you know what I'm saying? Come back home, you know, and and then now you just nagging him about all your problems, man. How come you didn't text me at 12:20 p.m. or Slack p.m. man? How come you didn't text me? How come your location was off? This, and that, right? How come this? You know, and just nagging him about questions, right? And you're trying to dispute him as soon as he comes out the door, man. Because he says, "All right, Shalom, you know, I'm home, right? Hey, where was you at this time? You came 10 minutes late. What the hell? What the hell's going on, man? Right? You have to let him just hey, don't even nag him about things until you have done eating and drinking. Let him at least take a shower, man. Let him pray. You know, let him read a little bit, right? Let him sit down and have a beer or have a sip some yan, man. Let him chill, right? And that's even and that's crazy because even when you go to and I plan to get into this a little later, but you know the spirit will move as it will. Um, there's this thing that I saw on Instagram like a couple months ago. You know what I'm saying, and I have it pulled up here. But basically, this is literally in the 1950s. In the 1950s, this is what it says, right? It says how it's like tips to look after your husband. You know, this is tips to look after your husband. Remember in the 1950s, women conducted themselves in a different manner when it came to men. All right, they conducted themselves in a different manner. In fact, most women were what wearing dresses. They were more submissive, right? They were more caring, you know, et cetera, for the most part, man. Even with Judah, you know, they were conducting themselves as such, right? But let's say, hey, let's see what it says, right? It says have dinner ready, plan ahead, even the night before, to have a delicious meal, right? That this is a way of letting him know that you have been thinking about him and are concerned about his needs. Most men are hungry when they come home, and the prospects of a good meal are part of the warm welcome needed. Hey, brothers will love that. You know, you come back home, the house is in order, right? Your woman already has a food ready prepared for you. Came home from a long day at work, Esau yelling at you, damn, your spirit is vexed, and that's the last thing you need is to come back home to the to the to the number one oppressor. It's not Esau, right? To the number one oppressor, your own rib. No brother wants to come home to that, man. No brother wants to come home to a dragon, you know, but to a lioness, to a caretaker. You know what I'm saying? Right? To Proverbs 31 woman, right? But it says also that look, uh, right, um, right, hold on, hold on. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot, man. Right? Minimize all noise. This I think this is what I wanted. It says at the time of his arrival, eliminate all noise of washer, dryer, dishwasher, or vacuum. Try to encourage the children to be quiet. Be happy to see him. Greet him with a warm smile. And be glad to see him. Right? Or even this. Basically, when he comes back home, don't be damn frantic and asking him a million questions and even adding more stress onto him, man. Right? And that's even what the scriptures promote as well. But Con, you got it, Kate.
I'm gonna get this precept. I'm looking for this other precept. Lord willing, I can find it. But come get this other precept. Kind of brothers on point, man. Like if you really think about it, man, the woman, like it says in Sirach, she's a pillar of rest. If I believe that's Sirach, she's a pillar of rest, man. You know, a pillar is something that holds up a building. That house, because of the woman, can either be built up or destroyed. You know, if you see your house so out of order, of course it can be the man, and it can be the woman too, man. She's not doing the things that she needs to do. We all have responsibilities. The point guard, his responsibility is to lead the team. The shooting guard, he has to make those 3-pointers, man. He has to make his shots. He has to get open. He has to run around the court to get open. You know, use the screens to get open and make those shots, man. The center, guess what? He needs the rebounds. He needs to get points in the paint, man. We all got different responsibilities. The Most High God, he's the Most High God. Yahweh shot, of course, he's Yahweh shot, man. The man, he has to provide. He has to watch over the household and protect, right? And guess what? The woman, she has to teach the children. She has to build up the house and things of that nature and righteousness under the man. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 14, and verse 1, and it reads, Every wise, Salakia, every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. So it says every wise woman buildeth up her house, man. Not foolish woman. You know you got things you got to work on in your house. That woman should take it to the husband and truth and sincerity, not bucking up against order. And and tell him, man, if you knew you need more, if you know you need more diapers for the baby, you know you need more what's it called, more silverware and more plates, tell the husband. I can go over the accounting, the money, stuff like that. And guess what? All things is done decently in order. On a one level, if brothers have ears to hear, the sisters, man, they're like the what's that word, man? It's a word that's basically the caretaker of the king's treasury. You know what I'm talking about? I just had it in my mind, man. The the steward. She's like the steward. The stewards, they're caretakers of the king's treasury. They have everything in their hands. The woman has like almost all things in her hands if the man is not there. Financially, she's the one looking over the house. If she sees that y'all need more food, she jots it down. Everything she's taking inventory basically. She got to take inventory of everything. She give it to the man. Guess what? The man, he goes over it. He does the bills. He does basically he's the final straw. He does the numbers. He crunches the numbers. Wherever it is, wherever it stands, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it should be ran in the house. So I'm trying to see if I can get this one precept. The Lord said, how it go? Basically, a woman with discretion is from the Lord, something like that.
Discretion is from the Lord.
I'll find it. I mean, you can go ahead, but that's really it, man. Like a wise woman got to build up her house. That's why you see these old movies, for example. You got the man, he wears the belt, he's the one working. Then you got the woman. Guess what? She's at home. You always see her, knitting, sewing, or you see her doing laundry. You see her always like like everybody hate Chris, for example. Julius was working 2 jobs, and Rochelle, she was always cooking. Even though she was kind of loud, she was going off, but she was cooking. She had food on the table. She would wake up her husband when it's time to go to work on time. Not if he has to go to work and start leaving by at 4 o'clock p.m. He said, "Don't wake me up at 3:59. Do not wake me up at 4:01. Make sure you." He said she told her son, "Make sure you wake him up at like 4 o'clock on the dot. Do not wake him up before." And that's caring for your husband, man, making sure he gets sleep. Chris, he ate the damn big piece of fried chicken, and guess what? The mom got mad because she was like, "You ate the big piece of fried chicken. That's for him. If he's hungry, he won't be able to go to work, meaning he won't get fired. And how are we going to keep the house?" So hey, that's how you gotta be, man. Looking out for your
Oh,
husband and things of that nature, man. Right, but Con, you got it. I'm gonna look for this precept though.
Con, that's right. That's right. That reminded me of Titus. You know, the Lord said, "Keepers at home," man. Right now, does that mean right? I'm gonna pull that precept real quick. Right, this book of Titus, chapter 2. Right, Titus chapter 2 and verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. If you're not obedient unto your own husband, then you're blaspheming the word of the Lord. Hey, that's what the Lord said, man. That the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. Because the Lord really and ordained and has commanded the women to be submissive and obedient unto the husband. You know? Now, if your husband is being off, of course, then that's something different. But if your husband is a man in the Lord and he's following Yahweh Shah, by you following him, you are following Yahweh Shah by default. That's what the Lord said in the first Paul. He said, 1 Corinthians 11:1, be therefore followers of me, even as also am a Mahashiach. So if you follow Paul in the ancient world, you're literally following Yahweh Shah because he followed Yahweh Shah, right? So if he told you to, hey, I'm gonna need you to do this, then what you gonna say, right? You're gonna say you're gonna buck up the Paul. No, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do my own thing. You know? No, man. Right? He's following Yahweh Shah. So if you are under him, you have to do as he says, because literally he's doing it in righteousness because he's following Yahweh Shah. Right? It says what? Um Salakia, that the Salakia, right? Chase keepers at home. Now, when it says keepers at home, does that mean that you're just sitting on the couch and you're just watching TV 24/7? That's all you're doing? You're not sewing garments. You're not reading. You're not praying. You're not fasting. Does that mean that you're just a keeper at home, right? You're not doing anything, you know? No. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 27, right? And a woman can get down in the laboring as well. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household. So that's an example, like the brother brought out. That's a good example of a woman looking well to her household. She's thinking logically, right? She's like, hey, I have to be this helpmeet for my head, my man, so that he may look well to the household, so that he may govern and rule the household in righteousness. You know, it says she looketh well to her household, right? And we know that you have the household on the physical level as well as you have the household on the spiritual level, which is going into what? Hey, this is your household right here, your body. So she looks well to her own body as well as to her household, so the children and the in her head, right? It says she looketh well to the ways of her household and eateth not the bread of idleness. So she doesn't eat the bread of idleness, man. Right? She's not just sitting up on the couch watching Netflix 24/7, you know? And the food's not being cooked. She doesn't know how to cook, man. All she knows how to cook is a damn TV dinner. I know a sister that actually just knows how to just cook a TV dinner. That's it. Right? Oh, she's in a world, but like nevertheless, you eat like the hell, man. Right? All you know how to do is cook TV dinner. Hey, if you have a husband, I bet you your husband doesn't want to come back home every day to a TV dinner, bro. Right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you don't clean, right? You don't read, you don't study, none of that. No. The Proverbs 31 woman, she doesn't eat the bread of idleness. She's not idle. You know, she's doing stuff. She's on the job. She's being occupied. You know, So, but Khan, you got it, King.
Come, yeah, we're going to touch on both too. The women and the men, man. And things of that nature, because it's both sides. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right,
both sides. A just balance. But I think I found a precept, Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 22, and it reads, "As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion." So if you found a jewel of gold or some rubies in a wide snout where all the boogers are, it's gonna be nasty. You don't want to put hands on a nasty behind diamond that been in a pig snout and his nose with boogers and stuff like that. It's nasty. Same thing with the fair woman without discretion. You can be the most so-called beautiful woman. You might be brown skinned and things of that nature. You may be fair to look upon. But if you don't have no discretion, and stuff like that, you can't foresee the evil. You don't have no discernment. The Lord's not dealing with that, man. The Lord's not dealing with that. Right? So let's get an example of
right,
our foremother having discretion. Right? This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 25. Abigail had discretion. She knew what was going on.
right.
She knew how to deliver her household from death. Because Nabal was going off, man. Nabal was wicked. He didn't want to give alms to David, basically. David was about to hit a lick on Nabal. But guess what? If it wasn't for Abigail's discretion, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the Most High God, guess what? David would have had some blood on his sword, man. This is because 1 Samuel chapter 25. I'm gonna jump down here and there. I'll start at verse 3. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. So you got a man named Nabal, right? He was evil. Now, when you read 1 Samuel chapter 25, David and his men was in the wilderness, man, from fleeing from Saul and things in that nature, right? So David, when you read on down, David's about to ask Nabal, can you send for sheep and things in that nature so we can eat because we're in the wilderness and things of that nature. Now, remind you, Abigail is Nabal's wife, right? I'm gonna jump down to verse. I'm gonna get kind of straight to the point. I'll start at verse. Let me see, 7. So this David sending messengers to Nabal, and now I have heard that thou hast shearers. Now thy shepherds which were with us, we hurt them not, neither was there aught missing unto them all the while they were in Carmel. Ask thy young men, and they will show thee. Wherefore let the young man find favor in thy eyes, for we come in a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh to thy hand unto thy servants and to thy son. Now, basically, David, he was taking care of Nabal's stuff for a moment, for a dispensation of time. And then in due season, David needs help, and he's going to Nabal to get some food. Now let's see how Nabal answered these men. I'll jump down to verse 10. And Nabal answered David's servants and said, "Who is David, and who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be?" That's like you helped the man when he was low. You gave him bread, you gave him money, things in that nature when he had nothing. And then when he became something, he got rich and things in that nature. You try to hit him up saying, remember me? Can you help me out with this, that, and the third? And then he would be like, I don't know you, man. That's how people were back then. I don't know you. Just because you got a little rich and wealth and things in that nature, that's evil. Deuteronomy 15 says you have to lend to the poor. Don't we have Purim coming up where you have to give to the poor? So the ball's going off, man. Having an evil eye toward his brother,
Right.
right? I want to jump. I want to get. Let me see. I'm gonna jump down to verse 13. And I'll start at verse 12. So David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told him all those sayings. And David said unto his men, "Gird ye on every man his sword." And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded on his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. So David had his mind made up to shed some blood, man. Because you'll feel some type of way if you help somebody come from nothing to something and they don't want to help you out. Hey, man, you're going to feel some type of way. Now, Abigail's about to come into play. The reason why we're reading this because of discretion of women. You got to know how to deliver your household from situations. Let's say you only have, 2 bags of rice and 1 steak. Let's say that. You got to understand on how to portion that to stretch it to make it last for 3 days, man. You got to understand, use discretion in this thing, man. Right? 1 Samuel 25 and verse 14. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he railed on them. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversing with them when we were in the fields. They were a wall unto us both by night and day, all the while we were with them, keeping the sheep. Now therefore know and consider that thou wilt do, for evil is determined against our master and against all his household, for he is such a son of Belial that a man cannot speak to him. So the servants of Nabal, they went to Abigail because Nabal's not hearing it, man. You have a lot of people who's too prideful, who's on a high horse, who don't want to hear nothing. They just want to have fun and things in that nature. But guess what? They had to go to Abigail because it's about to get serious. They knew David was a mighty man. That's like 2 Samuel 17, verse 8 on down. Right? So they went to Abigail. Now let's see how Abigail dealt with the situation. Verse 18. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on asses. And she said unto her servants, go on before me. Behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal. And that's righteous, man. Righteous deception. Well, it wasn't really deception, but, discretion and things in that nature. She didn't go to Nabal and say, listen here, nigga. David's about to come and kill you if you don't do what you got to do, man. Get right and things of that nature. No. She used discretion. She besought the Lord and things of that nature. And guess what? She got food and things to provide to the men of David. I'm going to get straight to the point. I don't want to be long-winded, right? Let me see. I'm going to get straight to the point. I'll start at verse 23. And it reads, and when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass and fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground. Now, a lot of women won't do that. They won't bow themselves to the ground. People in this world is too prideful. Even the men, prideful. There's no humbleness or meekness in them. They think it's weird to do so. But that's what we did back then, man. Abraham bowed down, man. Sarah bowed down, right? Everybody bowed down. David bowed down. Everybody bowed down to show respect and honor to people, man, right? But now we live in a society with Esau, and their prideful spirit rubs off on us. Let me see. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Dang. Yeah, this whole chapter is nice. Let me see. I'll get straight to the point when Nabal got killed, right? And 1 Samuel chapter 25, I'll start at verse 36. And it reads, and Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house, like the feast of a king. And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing, less or more, until the morning light. Right? And that's using discretion, using discernment and things in that nature for seeing the evil. If she would have told Nabal while he's drunk, Nabal would probably kill her, man. Put hands on her, start choking her out, push her up against the wall, throw her off the dang balcony or something, man. Right? But guess what? She used discretion and waited till that wine, that drunkenness left him, man. Right? Verse 37, but it came to pass in the morning when the wine was going out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things, that his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. And it came to pass about 10 days after that the Lord smote Nabal, that he died. And that can happen to a man who's not taking care of his household, who is wicked, who's not on fire, he's not providing for his household. If you have you shouldn't be worrying about a wife as much if you know you can't provide right now, man. Right? There's a season for everything. You gotta get your spirit right before you try to get a daughter of Zion. Okay, if you get a daughter of Zion, you're not, like it says in Exodus 21:10, you're not giving her raiment, her food, or the dirty duty of marriage. The Lord can take you out like He did in the ball, man. It's a serious thing, and on the spiritual level, we have to go to the Most High God because He's the Father to get a daughter of Zion. That's in the law, right? Verse 39. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and have kept his servant from evil. For the Lord hath returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. And when you read on down, David took Abigail to wife in righteousness, man. And again, that can happen to a lot of men. You're not taking care of daughter of Sarah, the daughter of Zion, the Lord will destroy you, right? He will probably kill you just to give her over to a man that has dignity, integrity, and honor, right, in the fear of the Lord to do what he needs to do to lead his household upright. Because you got it, Ken.
Con, that's right. That's right, man. A lot of good points. A lot of good points, you know. Con, that's spot on. Because when you go to the book of Sirach, chapter 25, and we're getting on the women, and we're also going to get on the men too. It's a just balance in this thing. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 25, though. Right, Sirach 25, and verse number 18. It says, I'm sorry, verse 17. It says, the wickedness of a woman changing her face and darkening her countenance like sackcloth, man. So the wickedness of a woman is going to change her face. It's going to darken her appearance. You know, she's not going to look so beautiful after you have realized that you're married to a damn dragon. You know, you thought that she was a Proverbs 31. You might have thought that she was a virtuous woman, but kind of find out inwardly she's actually a dragon, man. And now that darkens her countenance. Now her beauty that you once saw is not there anymore, man. Right? Verse 18, her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. Ain't nobody wants to be in that situation when a woman is controlling the relationship, man. Right? And that will mess with a man's masculinity, you know? It'll put a masculine spirit on the woman, and it'll demasculate the man, which is all off, right? uh, all wickedness is but a little to the wickedness of a woman, let the portion of his sinner fall upon her. As the Salaki, the climbing up of a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. A wife full of words, man, railing about things, disputings, right? Railings, all manner of confusion, right? Of a wife, right? A full of words, to a quiet man. It says, I'm a keep going. It says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudency, and much reproach. So that's not how it should be conducted. According to the words of the Lord, a woman should not be maintaining her husband. What does it mean, maintain? Does it mean maintaining his damn nails, right? Maintaining his phone, right? No, when it says a woman, it's like if she maintain her husband, it's going into what? She's being the provider in the household. If she does that, she's going to be full of anger, impudency, and much reproach, man. Right? Because she's going to be wearing the damn pants in a relationship, right? For lack of better terms, and that's going to put a masculine spirit on her, which is not right. It's off. Verse 23. A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh the heavy countenance, and it wounded heart. And a woman that would not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. So if a woman doesn't comfort her husband in times of distress, that's going to make weak hands and feeble knees, man. The woman should be able to be there for her husband at all times, and to lift him back up. Because guess what? That's the essential job of a woman, to be that helpmeet onto the righteous man. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 32. Right, so like Sirach chapter 36 and verse number 24. Right? He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. I'm gonna start at verse 23. Right? If there be kindness, meekness, and comfort in her tongue, then is not her husband like other men. So, those are the traits that you would want in a wife, man. Kindness, meekness, and comfort. Not, damn, your woman saying, get out my way, nigga. And she's saying all these cuss words at you. That's not how the Lord's not dealing with that. The Lord's not dealing with the woman disrespecting her husband. Because if you disrespect your Lord, right, that's like you disrespecting Yahweh. And I dare any woman to disrespect the Lord, to disrespect Yahweh. You shouldn't do that. Because it's a chain, man. You disrespect your Lord, you disrespect your husband, then you're disrespecting Yahweh, and then ultimately you're disrespecting the Lord, the Most High God, right? But it says what? You want to have kindness, meekness, and comfort in your tongue. Then is her, not her husband like other men. He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. So if you get a wife, you get a possession. That's in the scriptures. If you don't want to deal with that, then get off the line, man. Right? If you, hey, that's in the Bible, man. If you get a wife, you begin a possession, right? A help like unto himself and a pillar of rest. That's what a woman is to a man, a help me. Because if you're married to a holy man or holy husband, a righteous man, a virtuous husband, or Salaki, not a virtuous husband, but a Salaki, a righteous husband, rather, right? That's trying to be holy, that's trying to get the kingdom, that's following Yahusha, you are essentially helping him help you get the kingdom of heaven. That's what you're doing. You're helping him help you to get the kingdom, right? By cooking for him, doing as he states, right? Being there for him, ministering unto him, reading with him, etc., man. All this stuff. You're helping him help you get the kingdom of heaven. Because guess what? He may need someone to be there for him emotionally, spiritually, physically. So you're helping this man help you get the kingdom of heaven. That should be the mind state and a mindset, right, of our women in these last days. Not looking at him as a damn slobbered nosed, just no life, no, what I'm saying, no life nigga, man. That's a man of Yahweh Bashima Mashak Yahweh Shah, right? So, I'm just read to verse 25 and past it. It says, "Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled." So if you don't have a hedge, right? If you don't have any walls or anything protecting your possessions, it's going to get spoiled. So what is that talking about? It's talking about the woman. If you don't have a head, then you're going to be spoiled, man. Now, does that necessarily mean that every woman needs a husband? Not necessarily, but every woman needs a head, right? I'm gonna say that again. Every woman needs a head. Is that head always necessarily the husband? Not essentially, but every woman needs a head. Every woman needs uh, to be led in the truth of and way of righteousness. But it says, "Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled, and he that have no wife will wander up down in morning." Meaning that we need each other, the man and the woman. That's what the Lord said. Mark chapter 10, verse 5 on down. Right? For this cause, God made them male and female. But Khan, you got the king.
Trying to get a precept with that. You need both, man. It's hard to find a virtuous woman who's really sincere in this truth. And it's hard to find a man who's sincere in this truth. You have a lot of men who's basically still in the world, man. You have a lot of sisters who's basically still in the world, committing fornication, adultery, in everybody's DMs. Um, they just want to hang out and do things, man, and just use you to get pleasure of the flesh. And guess what? They'll leave you and move on to the next, like nothing ever happened. A lot of brothers in this truth, they just want you for your body, man. They just want you. They just came in. They don't read. They don't go out and teach. They only been in this thing for a month. They only been in it for a year because they heard you can have multiple wives. Every time you go on this man's Instagram story, it's always about getting a wife. Not going out to teach. He's not exhorting the nation. It's always about a wife, wicked woman, and about a wife. You gotta watch out for brothers like that, and for you
Right.
brothers, you gotta watch out for sisters who always in other men's DMs. You see, you going over your brother's comment section. He just did a mighty video saying Kwame Sorella. You see a comment section on there of a sister. You're like, oh, okay, they might be courting. All praise to the Most High. You have another brother who posted something, and that same sister in the comment section, man. Then you're like, hold on, what's going on here? And next thing you know, it's a cycle. You see the same sister in all these different comment sections, right? In all these different DMs and things of that nature, man. Right? So you got a lot of wickedness going on in Israel. That's why you gotta be circumspect and be patient and prove one another, like it says in Sirach 6 and 7, man. You gotta prove one another. Don't just hop into something. Right? This is a book of I want to get this first, and I'm gonna get another verse about the man. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. So the Lord said, you find a wife, not just any wife, not a wicked woman, like from what's it called? Why did I get married to Why did I get married? Why did I get married to? Angela and Marcus. That's not the wife he's talking about, man. Angela always yelling. She's over here drunk on a dang on a train, always yelling. Right when she get to the house, they're already arguing. That's not the wife that the Lord's talking about. He's talking about the wife, what the brother said, who knows how to cook, who knows how to clean, who take care of the children, man, who looks well to her goings and be a pillar of rest to the man. You over here coming home from work, you had a hard day, but guess what? When you get home, the food gonna be ready. That couch, guess what? She's gonna have that couch ready for you because that's her favorite seat in the room. She's gonna have your books. She's gonna have your markers. She's gonna have the pocket for open and things of that nature. She even might have the lesson you might want to study and think she's gonna have it all out right there for you to study, man. That's the wife the Lord is speaking about. And then for you, man, let me get this real quick. This is a book of Proverbs. So like, yeah, bear with me. All right. So can you hear me, Ken?
Con.
Okay. This is a book of Proverbs. Let me see. Bear with me. Con. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 6. Most men will proclaim everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find, man. So who can find a faithful man? It's hard to find a faithful man these last days because a lot of men, they're always trying to scam and run a scheme on you, man. Trying to run a game on you and things of that nature. They take submissiveness as weakness to sisters, man. Because sisters, they got some sisters who want to be submissive, who wants to do what's righteous, who wants to please her husband and things of that nature. Then you got these damn fools and weak men and wicked ass men in this truth who use that weakness against them. And guess what? They're probably caught for 1 month. They'll teach an evil lesson against himself. They say that you have to do everything I tell you to do. When I wake up, you have to be on the ground so I can put my feet on you so I can warm my feet and things of that nature. Then he'll go to precepts to prove it. Right? He'll misconstrue the precepts to make it fit his doctrine. And guess what? These sisters, they're weak. They don't know what's going on. They'll go with it. Now every morning before he goes to work, he wakes up, he rubs his eyes, he'll make sure he'll make sure the wife is on the ground. Then he'll put his crusty behind toes on her back or on her stomach to warm his feet. And he said, "Yeah, yeah, you're definitely a daughter of Zion." That's off, man. Right?
Speak.
That's off. You gotta watch out for these men. A faithful man, guess what? He'll do anything to protect and to provide for his family, man. He'll teach, right? He'll read, make out lessons, look well to his goings as well, look well to his household. If you have a problem, you take it to him. He'll be all ears, man. He won't be like, "Shut up! I'm the man. I'm the lord of the house. I'm the master. You're the woman. Bow down and be submissive. Go cook, right? You just got done cooking, man." Faithful man, he knows how to lead his household uprightly. A lot of people read Proverbs chapter 31 and only says, "Yeah, I can't wait till I get a virtuous woman." But brother, you're not like the Proverbs 31 woman, because in Jeremiah 16 verse 2, we're likened unto a woman as well. The man, you gotta be submissive to the Lord. He's our head. You gotta be diligent too in this thing, man. Be a pillar of rest in this thing too on another level, man. So there's different ways we can go about it for real. But Con, you got it, Ken.
Con, con. That's fire. That's right. That's right, man. I'm gonna pull that precept the brother quoted too. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 29. All right. And it reads, "Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants." You see that? So the Lord said, "Be not as a lion in thy house." Like the brother said, you come back home, you kick open the door, you know what I'm saying? Right? And then the woman, and then you have your woman there, right? She's kind of getting everything in order. She's trying to get everything in order, right? She's kind of sweating because she already knows she doesn't want to mess up, huh? Right? She serves you food, she's like, "Where's the damn food at?" You know? You yell out, "Where's the damn food at?" Right? You sit down, right? And then she serves you that food. Hey, like I said before, you know what I'm saying? Hey, the salt, you know what I'm saying? And she didn't even hey, let's say she didn't put on the salt on the food. It's a little bit too salty, right? And you like wicked. You say wicked, wicked. I'm a wicked wife. Hey man, that's going off, bro. That's going off. right? The Lord said that, look, you have to love your wives even as you love yourself, you know? And you come back home, kind of, you had a bad day at work, you kind of slap your woman. Shut up. I'm a man. You're the woman. Obey me. You know what I'm saying? And she, that's off. You don't want to be a lion in your household, man. Right? You come, at camp, we're lions, man. You know what I'm saying? We have to bring out that mighty spirit, that with that power, man. Like how it says in the book of First Corinthians, right? Chapter 4. You know what? Shall I come unto you with a rod or in love and in the spirit of meekness? You know? So you want to come in the spirit of meekness and in love when it concerns a wife. But when it concerns these nations, when it concerns the work of the Lord, you might have to come with that rod, man. You know? But it says what? Sirach chapter 4, verse 30. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants, man. You don't want to be frantic among your servants either. What does that mean? Right? Let's look up that word frantic. I already have it pulled up. Right? Let's see. Frantic, man. Right? It says wild or distraught with fear, anxiety, or other emotion. Panic stricken, panic struck. You understand? Panicky, beside oneself, at one wit's end, berserk, out of control, uncontrolled, feverish, hysterical. So essentially, what the Lord is saying is, you don't want to be freaking, you come back home and then your woman is like, okay, this and that, this and that, and you're like, I don't know, I don't know what to do, right? And no woman's gonna respect that man that just doesn't know what to do all the damn time. You know, he doesn't know what to do, right? He doesn't know how to lead. He doesn't know how to do these certain things. You know, he can't make decisions. You know, you don't want to be frantic among your servants, right? And if you have servants, that means that you're a man of a higher stature as well, having servants. So if you're frantic among your servants, even your servants, they're not going to respect you, man. You're like, I don't know, because that's on the man as well. If we're the man, that means we have to find a say so. So if we make the wrong decision, guess what? It's not going to be on the woman necessarily. It's going to be on you because you're the head. Remember, when it concerns with more power, you have more responsibility. That's a proverb in the world, but that also applies in this truth. With more power that you have, the more bigger your responsibility. So when things go wrong, you're not going to point to your damn child. You're not going to point to the dog. You're not going to point to the woman necessarily. It goes back to what? The man, the head. Because you're in control of that house, man. You are the overseer of that house. You're the ruler of that house, man. So if something goes wrong, things get pointed at you, and being a man, you have to take on that responsibility, right? So you women, when we say these things and teach these things, we have to also understand that being a head is not all good, man. You know, it's not all fun and dandy. That, oh yeah, like, hey, Eve was probably thinking that. Oh, so what? I guess I'm just a cooker then. I guess I'm just a maid. That's all I am, right? Just a maid, and you're just a king. You're a prince, right? So I'll just serve you. Well, guess what? Hey, that's kind of in the scriptures. Like, let's just be for real. But at the same time, of course, he has to give you that same loving compassion back, according to the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and many other precepts. But the thing is, being a head and being a leader of certain things is not always good, because being a leader is arguably the most stressful position, because you are the overseer of whatever you're overseeing, man, of that household, being the man, you know. So, uh, Khan, if you got a precept, you got it, King.
Kind of get a precept that leads on with that. Like the brother's saying, the man has to lead the household. He has to
Uh,
lead. He has to direct everything. He's like the CEO and things in that nature. Now the woman is like the assistant. You know what I'm saying? So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 18. I don't know if the brother already brought this one out. Genesis 18 and verse 17, and it reads, "And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do?" So this is Yahweh and Abraham speaking, right? Verse 18, "Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation,
and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. You see that? So he said that he knew Abraham would command his household. When you see, kids and things of that nature with these mighty men like David, well, David, all hell kind of break loose in his household, but the Lord had mercy upon him. Abraham, he had kids, and guess what? He commanded them according to the word, man, according to the commandments. They kept the commandments. Let me get another precept real quick. Even Jacob, right? He had to be a man and told everybody, forsake these gods, man. Because you might have kids, you might start going off a little. You might see them at the playground playing with some little white kids, things of that nature. You might start talking back. They might be playing the game too much and things. You be at work, so you can't really say much because you be at work. Then you kind of come home and you just get zealous out of nowhere. And then you telling the kid, "Hey man, put down that damn game and go read the Bible." You tell your daughter, she used to wear a dress and things of that nature, but now she's slowly wanting to wear pants. You start rebuking the whole household, man. That belt comes out, everybody getting rebuked, man. The wife getting rebuked. She got, hey man, all not with the belt, but you telling her to go cook, make sure everything's straightened out. Because your household, if you don't hold yourself diligent, your household can slowly fall, man. Until you
Right.
what? Until you what? What's it called? You start building that house back up. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 35, and verse 2, and it reads, Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. You see that? So Jacob was a leader in his household, and he said, Put away all these strange gods, man. And
Right.
what? Clean your garment. Repent. Be on fire for the Lord. Stop playing the game too damn much, man. Start praying more. Make sure you wear your head wrap. Where your fringes at? Right? That's how you gotta get your household in order. When you get yourself in order, guess what? Your household gonna follow suit in this thing. And I
Right.
believe we can find one more precept, man. If it be the Lord's will. I think I just read it, man. But in Ecclesiastes, actually, you got it, Kim. Let me find this precept real quick.
Con, con. I got a precept. Yeah, I got two quick precepts on that. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. So remember, that's both physically and spiritually. You have to hold being a man, your household in order. You got to make sure your women, right? Your woman is in subjection, right? She's striving to be righteous. The children as well, right? Ruling your household well, as it states also in the book of First Timothy chapter 3, that the offices of a bishop and of deacon, one of the requirements is that they rule their household well, and that their children be in a subjection with all gravity. You know. So let's go to the book also to Second Ezra chapter 14. Did you already bring this out? Second Ezra.
Lie.
Go. Second Ezra chapter 14 and verse number right 13. It says, Now therefore set thine house in order. That's what the Lord is saying to the men. Set your house in order. Now remember, the Lord is not saying that necessarily to the woman. He's not saying that to the children. All right. The Lord is not speaking to the babies. Okay. You know what I'm saying? The Lord says, Now therefore set thine house in order. Speaking to the men, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. See that? So the Lord said, Set your house in order. Both your body, right, which is your carnal house, and also your actual household. Huh? Setting it in order and having everything to be done indecently in order according to the commandments and guidelines that the Most High has set up. You know, all praise, and that would be all praise to the Most High if you were able to do that. And because, hey, guess what? If you don't do that, your house is going to be soon overthrown. Overthrown by what? Lust crept in unawares, right? Demons crept in unawares. You know, spirits. Now all of a sudden, spirits start hopping on your woman out of nowhere, right? Then guess what? Hey, all remember, because like how they say, your wife is a reflection of you. So if you, like how the brother said, if you're holding yourself in subjection, if you're built up in the spirit, then guess what? You're able to also build up your household in the spirit as well. If you yourself are built up in the spirit, but if you're not holding yourself diligent in the fear of the Lord, then your house is going to be overthrown and plagued by demons. I believe that's another precept too, that evil shall not depart from his house. Roughly paraphrasing. But Khan, you got it.
Yeah, I found this precept in Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 18. By much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands the house droppeth through. So if you're
Khan.
not being diligent in your household, man, that house gonna slowly and slowly fall. If you see a leak in the ceiling, things of that nature, and you just look at it, oh, I'll fix it tomorrow. I'll fix it next month. I'll do this, I'll do that. Right? Then a whole year passed by, that it's gonna have black mold, right? The ceiling, what's it called, it's gonna start slooping down. The next thing you know, the whole house crumbling, man. Because you have that dang dripping, that water in the ceiling. Right? You gotta make sure you're diligent to go into your house. If you see something going off, you gotta correct it on the spot, man. You gotta correct it on the spot. Because if you let your woman get away with back talking you, and you keep saying, it's okay, I'll let her get away with this. I don't want to put her in a bad mood. And she been doing it she has that demon on her for 4 months. Next thing you know, you try to correct her after a whole year. That demon already built up and got stronger and stronger. And guess what? Right when you try to correct her, she punched you in the face, man. And you can't do nothing about it. And now you gave your strength unto women. Now you gave your strength unto your household. Let me get a precept real quick. This is the book of First Corinthians. All right, chapter 13. Second Corinthians, chapter 13, and verse 5, and it reads, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. So you gotta always examine yourself. Yeah, examine yourself on the spiritual level where you're going off, and also examine your household. See what you need to do. Come up with projects, come up with plans. How can you make your household better, man? Come up with business plans and things of that nature. It tells you that a Proverbs 31 woman, she bought fields and everything for her man. Inheritance stuff, brought in inheritance. So man, you gotta, do things, man. Make a side hustle. If you know you're not bringing in as much, you might have to work 2 jobs. You might have to have a side hustle. Examine your household. You see your daughter going off, she's booed up at 2 a.m. on the phone. Guess what? Walk in that room, take her phone from her, and give judgment, man. And according to the law, you're not dealing with that, man. Right? Because at 2 a.m., God knows what was happening at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. Let's be real. Why are you on a hey, the woman showing her stuff, right? Things that what goes on at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., man. Let's be real. All right. Let's be real. Let's not kid ourselves, man. Second Corinthians 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves? How that Yahweh Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. You see that? So you know your own household. You know your household weaknesses and your strengths. You know that your weakness in the household is probably y'all don't pray as much together. But your strength, and guess what? Everything else, like preparing for the Sabbath, is on point. The kids, guess what? They make sure their room is clean, the bathroom is clean. The wife have the meal and everything prepped out um before the sun goes down. That's your strength. So you gotta examine your weaknesses in this thing and look what's your goings of your household. Because if not, it's gonna fall, man. So let me get one more precept on a spiritual level as well, right? And isn't Yahushua the head of the church, referring to Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 23, if I'm not mistaken? If the Lord looked well to his goings in the church, and he's the head of the church, and he was having compassion, healing, giving alms, and doing everything in that nature to the church, how much more you gotta be like Yahushua to your own household, man? If you can't take care of your own household, how you expect to be a dang officer, man? A captain of 50, a captain of thousands. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to be a ruler over 10 cities. Brother, your wife is going off, man, committing adultery, right? It's going off, man. This is a book of Proverbs, chapter 22, and verse 6. And it reads, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, on a baneful level, you got to train up your child in the way that he should go, of course. Make sure you give him his whoopings. That's Proverbs, I believe, 23 and verse 13. It's okay to give your children some whippings and things of that nature. Nothing going off with that. But on a spiritual level, you gotta train up your own household on the way it should go. They should already know the plan. You should write out a plan, and they should already know that incense should be lit at the hour of prayer at 3 p.m. If they don't, that discipline will come with it. They should know that dinner will start at 7 p.m. and it is what it is. Your wife should know that the house should be clean before the Sabbath come in and things of that nature. Over time they start getting used to the schedule. It should be easy. That's training up your household in a way that it should go, man, on a spiritual level. But come, you got it, King.
Con, that's right. That's right, man. Training up your household the way that it should go, man. That's a very, very valid point to the spirit, right? I want to get this account too, and that's good. That's good that a man would be a ruler of his household, man. Right? I want to get this account real quick of a virtuous woman, because let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 4, real quick. Mark chapter 4 and verse number Salakia. I wrote down the wrong precept. Mark chapter 3, I believe. Right? Right, Salakia. Oh, Luke. It's actually Luke. Salakia. Let's go to the book of Luke, I believe. Right. Luke chapter 4. Yeah, Luke 4 in verse 38. It says, and he arose out of the synagogue and entered into Simon's house. And Simon's wife's mother was taken with a great fever, and they besought him for her. And he stood over her and rebuked the fever, and it left her. And immediately she arose and ministered unto them. It says, and immediately she arose and ministered unto them, man. Immediately, right? As soon as the fever left her. Remember, we don't even know how long she had this fever. It could have been 3 days, could have been 4 days. It could have been a day, could have been 2 days, man. We don't even know. It could have been a week. She had this fever. And then the Lord, Yahweh Shai, healed her. And as soon as the fever left her, she didn't say, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't like, damn, all right, now I'm gonna get me a new purse, right? And she said, Shalom the water, I'm gonna give me a new purse. And then she just left, right? No, she ministered onto them. Then she got up, cooking, started to cook, man. Started to, all right, yeah, let me wash your feet, man. She ministered onto them. So that's an act of virtuousness right there. That's an act of righteousness. Let's go to the book of 1 Timothy. And women, they not trying to read these precepts, man. All right. And as men, we read both sides, right? We have to read, yeah. We as men, we have to be leaders, et cetera, et cetera. We have to be the strong, We have to always be strong, man. And that's what women don't understand too, right? Well, how do we have to serve you? Guess what, man? Hey, our lot is heavy. Our lot is heavier. In one fold, our lot is heavier than you women. Because women are not required to be prophets. They're not required to be teachers. They're not required to know the in-depth breakdowns. Not required to know all these precepts. To be teachers, to stand out there in the highways and byways for 7 hours. Not required to do that. So we're not saying that the women have it easy, but at the same time, let's just look at the truth of the matter, right? Let's go to the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5. 1 Timothy 5 and verse 8. This whole thing. 1 Peter 5 and 5. It says, now she that is a widow indeed and desolate trusteth in God and continueth in supplications and prayers night and day. So that's what women, that's how you can labor as well, right? Prayers night and day. And even in the book of Colossians, it will mention that a man was laboring night and day through prayers. Let's get that real quick. Colossians chapter 4 and verse 12. Epaphroditus, who is one of you, a servant of Christ, saluteth you, always laboring fervently for you in prayers, that ye may stand perfect and complete in all the will of the Most High. So that's how you can labor, by fervently praying. And Paul, he said that the widow indeed, She'll be continuing in supplications and prayers night and day. See that? What woman does that nowadays, man? She's continuing in supplications and prayers night and day. Not only when she feels like it, you understand? Not only a one prayer when she wakes up, all she says is the water, how. And she doesn't even say Bahashim Yahweh, man. She says it, the water, how. And then for the next 7 hours, she's on Instagram or TikTok. What the hell? Right? The widow, she gonna be praying and being in supplication night and day. That's laboring right there. Verse 6, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. A lot of Eves in the world, they live in pleasure, right? They getting the new fancy clothes, got Eve with the damn Michael Kors, damn new Versace bag. She got the Versace clothes on. You know what I'm saying? She got the Gucci right here. She got the this and that. It costs damn. She got $200 boots on, man. $200 boots, and you living in the ghetto, in the hood. What the hell is this madness, right? And you can't even pay rent, but you're spending $200 on shoes, also new boots because they look nice, but you already got 7 pairs at home. It's madness. Eve, you always have to have the latest iPhone. Eve always has to have the latest iPhone, the iPhone 13. As soon as the iPhone 14 come out, you gotta get that, man. What the hell's wrong with your previous phone? You always got to have the latest iPhones, man. Right? Always have to want to live in pleasure. That's not, and the Lord's not dealing with that. A woman that's just living in pleasure, because the Lord said, "She that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth." You know, meaning living in sin, folly, wickedness, right? Foolishness, right? She's dead while she liveth. Verse 7. And these things give in charge that they may be blameless. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So as a man, we have to provide for our own. We have to get up, go to work, we got to get a job, provide for our own. Even back in the ancient world, you may have a farm or a certain a member, the occupations, they were more hands-on, man. So they were more hands-on. See, you could nowadays, your job could be hands-on, but not like how it was back in the ancient world. You literally had to toil. You literally had to plow, man. You literally had to be like the smith, that blow up the coals in the fire, like it says in the book of Sirach, 38th chapter, right? You have to literally be there, boom, boom, sweating, brow, right? Like that, man. You have to come back home. It was more hands-on and more physical. So if you didn't provide for your own, nevertheless, especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than the infidel. And the Lord calls you worse than the infidel. And you might as well not be in the truth if you're not going to provide for your own. So the men, just as the women can't be lazy in this thing, right, and be and they can't be disobedient to their husbands, and the men can't be disobedient to Yahweh. Because Yahweh, he said, occupy till I come, man. Meaning what? You have to be occupied until he comes back. Just like how, hey, like if you're at work, man, and your manager, he just leaves for a second, right? Your boss or your manager, overseer, supervisor, he leaves for just a second. He said, "All right, I want you guys to hold it down. Be right back," and he leaves. If you're just damn, all right, yeah, he's going. I'll just be on my phone, right? If you're just on your damn phone, right, nothing's being done, and as soon as he comes back and he sees you on your phone, guess what, bro? It's not going to end up good. It's not going to end good. And he sees that you done no work. The same thing with Yahweh, man. So the Yahweh, he tells us to occupy until he comes, both in the spiritual work and in the physical, right? And the Lord also said, "Be not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord." And that business is really going into any business that you might have, man. Whether that's going into the spiritual business, which is the Father's business, or even your job, how you get money, how you provide, right? Verse 10. I'm gonna skip and then pass it on. Verse 10, all right. It says, well reported of good works. If she had brought up children, if she has lodged strangers, that's hospitality, like how the brother was saying. If she has washed the saints' feet. So, what woman nowadays has washed the saints' feet? Let's say you come back home from a long day at camp. You know what I'm saying? A long day of laboring, a long day of, fighting demons. You might be fighting the demons of Atlanta, you know? Scoffers coming up. You're dealing with scoffers 2 hours upon end. It's hella cold, you know? And you come back home, right? Hey, and your feet hurt, man. We know that brothers' feet hurt after camp. We can all attest to that. And imagine, a woman actually attending on to you and what washing your feet, just like how Yahweh did the apostles, right? It's lucky. It says, if she had relieved the afflicted, if she had diligently followed every good work. So there's things that women can do to profit the ministry, right? And to profit, right, your literally your husband, and you could do this to your husband as well. But Khan, you got it, King.
Kind of get priest to lead with the brother. The brother's saying, man, you got many works the woman can do and the man can do. We got a precept for the woman first. It's a book of Luke, chapter 7, and I'll start at verse 44. And it reads, and he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, seest thou this woman? I enter into thine house. Thou gavest me no water for my feet, but she hath washed my feet with tears, and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Thou gavest me no kiss, but this woman, since the time I came in, have not ceased to kiss my feet. My head with oil thou didst not anoint, but this woman hath anointed my feet with ointment. Wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom
Mm.
little is forgiven, the same loveth little. So this woman that anointed the head of Yahweh, washed his feet and things in that nature with water. Guess what? She loved the Most High. The Lord loved the Lord, a lot, man. And her just serving the Lord, that's going to knock off sins and sins and sins. You loving your husband, you washing his, you massaging his feet. You doing things out of the ordinary. You can't be mediocre in this thing. You got to stand out. What makes you to stand out? What made this woman to stand out? Even Peter, he was the head of the church. He had the keys to the streets, basically. But what made this woman stand out from Peter? She labored for real, man. To Yahweh side, literally, she washed his feet, anointed him, and even her, hey man, right?
Right.
It says wiped them with the hairs of her head. His feet, she put her hair, and she wiped it on his feet, man. Now Peter not doing that. If Peter had an afro, Peter wouldn't do that because the Lord just said he didn't do that. But this woman, she did. So what makes you stand out towards your husband? Are you just like everybody else? Well, I mean, I made him dinner. I mean, I do everything he tells me to do. But what can you do to exceed that? How can you be exceeding great? How can you wax more mighty as on a virtuous level, man? What can you do that will make your husband love you even more? And that, let me get a precept, man. That's the spirit. What will make your husband and your children praise thee and bless thee, like it says in Proverbs 31? Because yeah, if a man tells you all you have to do, he's tired, please, just please, just have food ready, and that'll be straight. Then he comes home, you got the food ready, you got his books and his markers and everything open. The house is clean, you got that fresh smell, right? You get the plug-in wall and you got the incense going, right? Everything's quiet, everything's relaxed. The yan yan with his food, man, right? He sits down out of nowhere, you massaging his feet, you going at it, man. And he start to lay down. You do that yawn. You start to rub his shoulders. You start to rub his back. And he said, "What's going on?" Dang, okay, you for real, man. Okay, right, things of that
Oh,
nature. That's how it should be, man. He should see that you serious about this thing, right? You shouldn't just be walking around with that, a head wrap on when you go to sleep, and you just toss him his plate, and the food run up, the plate slides all the way to him, and then it slides off the table. What's going off, man? You should be gentle and precious in this thing. But there's a book of Proverbs, right? Chapter 31 and verse 28, and it reads, her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. So is your husband praising you, or is he coming home just another day? It's another ordinary day. Or is he praising you? Dang, man, you on fire. You got the dishes washed. It smells good in here, right? The living room clean, the clothes folded up. When I left, hey, man, you had a lot to do, but you already got it done. Dang, you did more than I told you to do. Is he doing that to you? Is your kids saying thank you for cooking breakfast, and things of that nature. Thank you for doing this. Even though I was supposed to make my bed, thank you for making my bed. My dad would have been mad at me and things of that nature. Are they doing that, man? Or are they just saying, or are they just walking past you on their phone? y'all in the same house, they just walk past you on their phone. Oh, hey, mom. They just walk past and things, and they don't even acknowledge you, man. You gotta be on fire in this thing, man. Let me get a precept. Let me get another precept, right? Let's go to Matthew. Because you got a lot of women who labor with the Lord. Stop thinking that it was only Peter, James, and John, and the rest of the 12, and the 70 disciples, and things of that nature. No, you had women amongst them. Paul had women amongst them who labor with it. Let me get this precept. Dang. All right, hold on. I ain't trying to take away the word, but we in this thing, man. All right, bear with me. This is a book of Luke. See if I can bear with me. Bear with me. Dang, I lost that. Lord willing comes back to me. Lord willing comes back. I think. There we go. This is the book of Luke, chapter 8. I'll start at verse 1. And it reads, And it came to pass afterward that he went throughout every city and village, preaching and showing the glad tidings of the kingdom of God. And the 12 were with him. And everybody probably just read, and the 12 were with him and start daydreaming about how the 12 were prophets and mighty men. Next thing you know, they close the book, and it is what it is. They don't read on down, man. Right, verse 2. And certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils. Because really, sisters in the world, they got a lot of demons on them when they come into this truth. A lot.
Right.
Brothers too, but sisters be going through it because all this committing adultery, all these demons upon them, household and stuff like that. It's bad, man. But the point is, verse 3, and Joanna, the wife of Chusa, Herod's steward, and Susanna, and many others. It didn't just say some, some others. It said many others, which minister unto him of their substance. So you had all these righteous women who minister to the Lord, man. Righteous sisters. When you read about Martha and Mary, and I forget where that account is, man, but I think Martha was covered with work. I think it was Martha, who was the one trying to get everything in order, the food and stuff like that. And Mary was listening. Mary Magdalene was listening, things of that nature. I forget which one it was. But Martha, she was trying to get everything. I think it was Martha. She was trying to get everything prepared for the auction, man. Having the food, and she was mad at Mary because Mary wasn't helping out. And the Lord told her, hey, man, she chose the thing that's good. Chill out. That's how on fire you got to be as a woman. When someone has to tell you to chill out, it's okay. Calm down when you try to get the food ready, the drinks ready, and things of that nature. You had Tabitha; she was glorified of her mighty works, her mighty garments, man. You had all these different I don't want to take all the preachers, but you had all these mighty women and men doing the work of the Lord and things of that nature. But you got it, King.
Yeah, that's right. That's all on point, man. That's all on point. I got that account actually that the brother was referring to. That's Luke chapter 10 real quick. Luke chapter 10 verse 38. Now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary. This is Mary Magdalene, which also sat at Yahweh's feet and heard his word. You see that? Would you sit at your husband's feet and hear him break down the scriptures? You know what I'm saying? Because remember, I have to bring this out real quick. Right? Let's go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, right? Ephesians 5 and verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. So even in the general consensus, we have to submit ourselves one to another in the fear of the Most High, right? Like I submit myself unto Abiah in certain ordinances, and he submits unto me in certain ordinances in times, right? So we submit even ourselves, right, one to another. So how much more a woman to her head, and how much more a man to Yahweh, right? It says, "What wives submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. So the Lord said you have the wives should submit themselves unto their own husbands as unto the Lord. So yeah, when you see your husband, this man of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, you have to see who Yahweh Shah, literally, right? Because remember, isn't the elect made in the image of the Lord? That's Romans chapter 8. Your man could be the elect, right? Imagine that. Your man could be 144,000. Now, guess what? The man, remember, he has power over the household. So if he's righteous, hey, guess what? And you're righteous, you guys could be saved together and your children as well. Right? Even in the book of Acts chapter 16, verse 31, it's the man, he says, sirs, what must I do to be saved? He said, believe on the Lord Yahweh Shah, and thou shalt and thy house. It's like it, thou and thy house shall be saved. So it's possible for a man to save his own household because of his righteousness and because he's able to rule his house right in the order of the Lord, right? But let's go back to this. So when you see your husband, a man Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, you should see the Lord Yahweh Shah, right, and treat him as such. But it says, and she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Yahweh Shah's feet and heard his word. And Martha was cumbered about much serving and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister have left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. So Martha was there. Hey, she was getting busy. She probably she got one pot over here. She's cooking she's warming up some water. And she got another pot over here. She's cooking up the tea. She got another pot over here. So she's cooking, man. Right? She's ministering. You know, she might be washing the saints' feet at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Ministering. You know, she might be sewing another brother's garments, trying to finish that. And she's like, hey, Yahweh Shah, why aren't you making my sister? Why don't you getting on my sister? I'm trying to minister. She's not even helping me, you know? And what did the Lord say, though? Verse 41. And Yahweh Shah answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her. All right? But still, nevertheless, what the brothers are bringing out was the fact that Martha was ministering unto the men of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. You know, you're ministering unto the men, right, or the servants of the Lord. And that is something that we also have to pay attention to. You know, when you're talking to your husband and he's a man that serves the Lord, you're not just talking to any man. You know, you're not just talking to another, dude. He's not just some dude. He's the actual king on the earth. He may be the elect. He may be the friend of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord said, you are my friends. Did not the Lord say that? So if your husband is a friend of the Lord, remember, you don't want to mess up and say something and talk back, and call him a damn nigga, If you do that, guess what? The Lord can hold that accountable to you. Why did you call my servant my friend? Why did you call him, right? This, and that, and the third. How come you bucked up? How come when he told you go do the dishes, you said, hey, how come you did that? Right? The Lord's going to hold you accountable to that, huh? Right? How come when he told you go do the dishes, you bucked up and acted according to your flesh and said, why I got to do it? I did it yesterday. Go do it yourself, nigga. What, you can't do it? What the hell? Hey, man, that's not being in order. That's not being in subjection, man. Right? But Khan, you got it, King.
Con, I can get the class real quick. And I do want to make another point too. But to touch on what the brother's saying, man, to get a classic with McCall, you don't want to be bucking up because you never know who you talking to in this thing. For men and women, you might be a man, you mistreating your wife, and the whole time that might be Sarah back on the earth, man. That might be the
Right.
Lord's mother back on the earth. That might be, one of the that might be Mary Magdalene back on the earth. You never know who you have in this thing, man.
Yeah.
You gotta understand and watch what you say, because that's all gonna be held accountable in that day, man. You over here calling her a B word. You talking about she's unprofitable. She can't do nothing right, even though she is doing it right. Next thing you know, in that day, the Lord gonna destroy you, because that was his mother, man. He gonna destroy you, because Jake don't play around with his mother, man. Right? That's his mother, right? He gonna destroy you. Don't know in the wives, man. You might be talking to King David back on the earth, man. To Abraham, you just a nigga. You can't do nothing right. You poor. You got
Right.
nothing, right? Then the man, hey, it is what it is. You can take that with the Lord. And in that day, the Lord destroys that woman. Cause guess what? You going to say that to my friend? You gonna hurt his feelings? Cause you probably committed adultery, cheated on your dang husband, man. You gonna hurt his feelings and things of that nature? I'm gonna kill you, man. That's how the Lord going. I'm gonna kill you. Right. This is the book of Second
Right.
Samuel, chapter 6 and verse. I'll start at verse 16. And it reads, "And as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, and she despised them in her heart." So, females, let's be real. Even in the world, you see it on movies and things of that nature. You got people like this in the truth. They don't want to see their husband happy, and the husband don't want to be to see the wife happy. Don't be jealous over that wife. You know what I'm saying? Right when you see
Right.
the man having a good time, drinking a yan yan, he cracking jokes at the feast day. He having a good time. You over there with your sisters gossiping. Why is a man like that? Why is he having a good time, man? I don't know. I'll get him an order when we get home. You just looking at him and things of that nature. You start squinting your eyes and start shaking your head and things of that nature. Then y'all get in the car, y'all start arguing. She started an argument out of nowhere, and then hey man, hey. So let's keep going though. I'm gonna jump down to the point though. Verse 20, and it reads, "Then David returned to bless his household, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, 'How glorious was the king of Israel today, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaids of his servants, as one of the vain fellows shamelessly uncovered himself.'" She called David a shame fellow, a foolish man. That's going off. And David had good intentions to come and bless his household. That's like you come home from work, you just got good pay, you want to come home, and things, and bless the children and things of that nature, go over good scriptures and things and share things with them. Then out of nowhere, the woman comes home, she didn't do anything. Then she said, "Why are you happy? Why are you having a good time? Who you talking to? Why are you so happy?" And things of that nature. That's the same thing. That's Eve for you, man. Right? And I'm gonna keep going, verse 21. "And David said to Michal, 'It was before the Lord, which chose me before thy father and before all his house.'" Hey, David said, "Hey man, it was before the Lord. It was and guess what? He chose me before your father and before all your house and before all his house to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel. Therefore, will I play before the Lord?" He said, "I'm gonna keep doing it too, man. I'm gonna keep doing it. It is what it is. The Lord chose me over your dad." Verse 22. "And I will yet be more vile than this." And he said, "Hey, just because you spoke up like this, I'm gonna be more vile than this. I'm gonna be more. Hey, I'm gonna get down more just because you said something, and will be base in my own sight. And if the maid servants which thou hast spoken of them shall I be had in honor." You want to talk, you want to be jealous over another female, which is going off. Guess what? I'm gonna be had in honor. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing, and you gotta deal with it. Verse 23, "Therefore Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child until the day of her death." You see what the Lord can do? He can jam you up and give you no child in this thing, man. Make you barren, right?
Yep.
Make you have no child. He can jam you up and give you, I don't know, cancer. He can make you go bald out of nowhere. You was righteous at one point. You was serving the Lord. Serving the Lord in truth and sincerity, serving your husband. But out of nowhere, you want to buck up against your husband. And next thing you know, guess what? You got no hair. You bald headed. You can't have no kids, right? You got an ingrown toenail and things of that nature, man. All right. So
Man.
come, your brother's got it.
Colin, that's right. That's right, man. You know. I want to go to. I want to go to. Right. Let's precept real quick. Right. So if you speak up against your head, hey, you could get jammed up. Right. You can get jammed up for real. Hey, even Miriam, right? She spoke up against Moses, and she got jammed up. The Lord gave her leprosy. All right. So it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. So like I just lost my train of thought. So like you, right? All right. I'm gonna get this precept though. All right, I'm gonna get this precept. Let's go to the book of First Corinthians. right? You shouldn't have women, okay? You shouldn't have women. Hey, another brother, your car, he told me this, man. Right? He told me this. He was like, hey, one time he saw a woman, he saw a man and a woman, husband and wife, and they was bringing it out at camp, you know, and the woman, and the woman was the teacher, and the man, bro, and the husband was pulling precepts, bro. He was the reader. Yeah, this is madness, man. Right? What the hell is going on here? That's not how the Lord. That's confusion. You know, that is confusion, man. When did the Lord say? Right? Hold on, bro. Right? Let's go to the book of First Timothy chapter 2. Right? First Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. Right? It says, in like manner also that women adore themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Let the women learn in silence with all subjection. That's what the Lord said. He said, let the women learn in silence with all subjection, right? But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. So Paul said, I don't suffer a woman to teach. I don't want women to teach the scriptures. So that's why the women, they can't be going up in the precepts, pulling precepts at camp, bro. Shaking the hand, that's out of order. That's a man's job, and that's a man's occupation. That's what the Lord gave unto the men, not unto the women. It says what? For verse 13. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. So Eve was deceived. Adam wasn't deceived. Eve was. When she came unto the serpent, guess what? She tried to lean onto her own understanding, and that's a perfect example of what will happen if a woman doesn't have a head. See, if Adam was there guiding Eve and telling, and if she ran, all right, let's get that real quick. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. All right. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have God said, ye shall eat of every tree of the garden? And now this serpent is not an actual serpent. It's a man. Okay, it's a man. Remember, men are personified as beasts in the scriptures. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 3. All right, that men may know that they themselves are beasts. As concerning snakes, you have the book of Deuteronomy 32nd chapter. You also have Yahweh Shah calling us a generation of vipers. Is he literally saying that the Israelites are a generation of snakes, like an actual snake crawling upon his belly? No. Just saying, like, a snake characteristic, just like how Jake was saying the world. Oh, he a snake. What does that mean? That means that literally he essentially has characteristics of that of a sly person, essentially, right? But it says what? Genesis 3 and 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. So the serpent is lying unto the woman. That's going off, right? But guess what? It's going off even if the serpent came up to Eve, let's say he kind of pulled her to the side. Eve should have been like, no, you're not talking to me. You're going to talk to my head. Right? Don't talk to me. Talk to my husband. If Eve said that, then this whole situation would have been avoided, man. We would have been in the kingdom already. Imagine that. But Eve, since she wanted to have that little pride in her, nah, I can deal with it. I can do it. Right? I don't need a head. I don't need a man. Hey, the independent women, the independent Eves that say they don't need a man, they don't need a head. Guess what? In the day all hell breaking loose, you're gonna be the main one clinging on to a man of the Lord. That's Isaiah 4 and 1. You're going to try to cling onto a man for direction. But what about when you're in the world? What about before that, man? What about when you were trying to live it up, saying you didn't need a man? The Lord said you need a man. Are you more smart and are you over the Lord? No, right? But it says what? Verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for the Most High doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, that your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. You see that? And you have to read between the lines as well. When she took of the fruit and ate of it, she's like, okay, this is good doctrine. This is strange, but I like it. It's good. It's pleasing to my eyes. So how you like the incense? Okay, so you do that. Okay, and he probably had a big ass idol, gold, silver. Because remember, this fruit is not actual fruit, right? People say it's an apple. That's not written, right? You're not going to find apple in there. It just says fruit. People, just assume that's an apple. But this fruit is really going to the philosophy and doctrine of this particular nation, right? And their customs. But it says what? It says, and he did eat and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. Now, if she ran this by Adam first and said, no, stop talking to me, you're going to talk to my husband. Let's say the serpent, because the serpent, remember, he didn't go to Adam. He went to Eve because he knew that the woman was a weaker vessel and that she could be easily persuaded in her mind. Remember, that's just a certain characteristic of a woman. They think illogically, A lot of times they think with their emotions and not with logic, unlike men. Most of the time, men, we think with logic and reasoning and with the spirit of the Lord and line it up with the scriptures, right? With the precepts. Because even sometimes we can be wrong in our own vain mind. We still got to link it up with the precepts. And the Lord's correction and the Lord's direction can never be wrong. But it says, remember, that's very particular in how the serpent caught his prey. He didn't go to the strong one. He went to the weak one. And that's how he got in. You see that? But Khan, you got it, King.
Khan. Yeah, in the beginning of sin is the woman, man.
Right.
And things of that nature. I think that the brother put that out in what's Iraq.
Yeah, that's Iraq. Yeah, I can pull it real quick. It's Iraq, chapter 25, verse 24. Right. It says, "Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die."
So the woman, that was the beginning of sin. Why? Because she wasn't being shamefaced and going to get her husband. Bro, I want to get this real quick in Judges chapter 13. And also the verse 11. And Manoah arose and went after his wife and came to the man. Salakia, I'll start at verse, let me see. It's Judges chapter 13. I'll start at verse 8. And it reads, Then Manoah entreated the Lord and said, O my Lord, lest the man of God which thou didst send come again unto us and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. So the angel of God came to the woman. But let's see how the woman ordered herself and things of that nature. Was she like Eve? Did she continue to talk and have a conversation? Or did she humble herself to go get her husband? All right, let's keep going. And it reads, But Manoah, her husband, was not with her, and the woman made haste. It says, And the woman made haste and ran and shewed her husband and said unto him, Behold, the man hath appeared unto me that came unto me the other day. Manoah arose and went after his wife and came to the man and said unto him, Art thou the man that spakest unto the woman? And he said, I am. Now, when you read the Bible, it's not just certain things are not in the Bible just because it is. It's a coincidence. The Lord just put it in there. He made a mistake to put it in there. No, it's for your learning. Right? Everything that's written is for your learning. So you got to understand how this woman conducted herself. It said that she made haste to go get her husband to come talk to this man. She wasn't like Eve, man, because let me get a precept on the fruit. And the brother said that fruit It's not an actual apple that probably fell on somebody's head and rolled in the grass, man. That apple is the fruit of lies, like it says in Hosea chapter 10, I believe verse 14. Let me get that real quick. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 10, and verse 13, Salaki, and it reads, "You have plowed wickedness, you have reaped iniquity, you have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way, in the multitude of thy mighty men." So if you trust in your own way and lean on your own understanding, you're gonna eat the fruit of lies, man. And that's what happened with Eve. She trusted in her own way, she leaned on her own understanding, and she ate the fruit of lies. And through her, we all fall. Man die, right? We have a covenant with death. We have a signature on a contract with hell and death, man. Things of that nature. So women got to be shame-faced. They can't be like Jezebel, man. A lot of women, it's truth that the spirit of Jezebel. They all look in other man's face. They're whores committing adultery. Right? Got all that makeup on to allure men. That's when you got all that makeup. That's all witchcraft, man. To allure men. The Lord didn't say, I made man and woman in my image. The Lord is not wearing makeup. Right? The Lord's not wearing makeup, man. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with wearing earrings, and beautifying yourself. But all that makeup where you got your face one color and your neck is one color. You probably hug your husband, got all that makeup on his dang jacket, and you can't even get it out, man. You got to buy a new jacket. What kind you got it, King? I got to appreciate though. What kind you got it?
Yeah, kind like right. Hey, and that's bad. It's bad. It's like a whole damn painting on your face, man. Right? It's crazy. And we have those accounts of the world too. As soon as she takes that makeup off, it's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Kind of looking like a man, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. It's like it's manipulated. It makes you look like a whole different person. And I can even attest to that too. I know this. My real quick. I have a supervisor at my job, and essentially, first time I saw her, like she had a lot of makeup on, and I thought that's just how she looked. And then the next day or the next time I saw her, she didn't have makeup on, and she looked like a completely different person now. She looked like a completely different person. Right, the fake eyelashes, you know what I'm saying, the eyeliner and all this other stuff. I don't even know what it's called, man. Right, the I don't even know. Right, but hey, what kind you got a king?
Come on, man. That's our old lady on Instagram. She got no teeth, and things of that nature. But guess what? All you need is some makeup, some what the brother said, eyeliner, mascara or some of the what's it called? The clip-on eyelashes, something like that, the glue ones.
Clip.
Guess what? Get a good set of hair. You look like a whole different person. That is witchcraft. You're deceiving men to make it seem like you're something when you're not. Where's that at in the Bible? This is a book of 2 Kings chapter 9 and verse 22. And it came to pass when Jerome saw Jehu that he said, "Is it peace, Jehu?" And he answered, "What peace? So long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcrafts are so many." So Jezebel and her witchcraft are many, man. She was a whore. She was that nasty African, right? And that's all the heathen customs. We're not supposed to be following the choosing the ways of the oppressor. So if you wear all that makeup just to allure men, and things of that nature, not to beautify yourself for your husband. You got some other people saying it's okay to wear makeup. Look, I like natural beauty myself, man. Because like the brother said, you might wear all that makeup and you take it off. That's the first time your husband see you take off that makeup. He's not into you. You wonder why your husband don't want to lay with you, right? Because he was deceived, man. He pissed. He tossing and turning in his sleep. He punching the air, man. Punching his pillow. Are you okay, babe? Yeah, I'm fine. Shalom. Right? He goes to work earlier, man. Yeah, he's supposed to go to work at 6 a.m. But guess what? He leaves to go to work at 4 a.m. Why are you leaving so early? I just am. And he comes back home later. Like, dang, you working hard today, baby. Yeah, I know. He don't want to be home with you, man. But why? You deceived him. I want to keep going in that same chapter. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 9 and verse 30. And it reads, "And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tied her head and looked out at a window." Damn, man. This woman painted her
Right.
dang face and looked out a window to appear unto men. A lot of females like to appear unto men. They want to get the best braids. At first, they really don't do anything. But when that unity kept coming up, That's when they get their hair done. They get the best hat wraps. They get the best dresses, and that's when they put all that makeup on. So guess what? At the feast day, on a feast day when y'all congregate and stuff like that, she's gonna lure you. She's looking into your eyes. She's flapping those those wings on her eyes. She got
Wing.
all that makeup, right, to allure you, man. And a lot of people fall by that, man. That's why Peter, I won't be long with it, but it all links up with scripture, man. The prophets always talks about, the prophets, everybody talks about the things that happen in the law and the history because it's for our understanding till now. There's a book of First Peter, chapter 3. Shoot. Now I go in verse 3, and it reads, whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel. You see that? So don't
Right.
let it. Don't try to get a man from your outward appearance. Yeah, I got him. He's mine. Y'all been courting for 6 months over Instagram. 12 months over Twitter. Y'all just been courting. But right when he see you in person, because you gonna post the best pictures on your Instagram when you look nice. But right when he see you in person, when you're not looking the best, you wonder why he's not replying to you. You wonder why all of a sudden he don't want to marry nobody now. Because you deceived him, man. You deceived him. Slock, I
Right.
got another precept. Slock, yeah. Let me get this real quick. This is my favorite precept, actually. One of my favorite precepts. My brother asked me what's my favorite precept. One of my favorite precepts, I would say this. This is the book of First Samuel, chapter 16, and verse 7. And it reads, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. You see that? So, a lot of men and women, they get deceived by the outward appearance. Oh, she's beautiful. She's very easy to look upon. Oh, that's surely a daughter of Zerah. She looked very delicate. She brown skin, a red bone. She got the red undertone and stuff like that. Very, very beautiful. Next thing you know, you don't even court her. You only court her for what? A month at most? You lay down with her and she's evil as hell. You lay down with her, now you got demons on you. She's vexing you out. She wasn't really in the truth. She was just trying, she told you she's just trying it for it's a new trend and things in that nature. You gotta deal with that, man. Right? But then you got some people, don't get me wrong, you got beautiful women in this truth, but they don't really care about the outward appearance. You got sisters who look at men because they got the most mightiest beard. He's not patchy or anything. It's mighty as heck. He's very tall. He's beautiful. He brings out mighty. He read. He hold posts. He's very strong. They look at the outward appearance, but when he laid down with her, he's wicked as hell, teaching her evil lessons. He beats her. He don't even teach her at all, man. He don't work. He's an infidel. He don't provide for his household, right? He's all these different things. Why? Because she didn't prove her. She didn't prove him, and she was looking at the outward appearance, man, going
Right.
off in this thing. So we can't be looking at the outward appearance. Let me get one more, Salaki. One more.
Got it.
One more. Damn, I forgot what I was about to get to. Dang. Let me just get this down. Well, that's the Lord thing. That's definitely the Lord. Come on, there we go. There we go. This book of Proverbs, chapter 31. I believe I want verse 30. Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, man. So the Lord said favor beauty is vain in this thing. Don't always go on the outward appearance. You men out there looking for a wife, don't go for that wife just because she got makeup. You looking at her toes when she's wearing her sandals, man. Bros be going off. You looking at another man's wife. You over here gazing upon a man's wife, you don't even know it, just because she look beautiful. A lot of men go off like that, man.
Right.
Samson, he saw a Philistine, and guess what? He fell because of her, just because he gazed upon her, man. Right? Right when you look into their eyes, they got you. They got you locked in. It reads, but a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. So, hey, it says a woman that fears the Lord, a man that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. But Con, you got it, King.
Con. Right. I got a precept on that, man. This is book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 24. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. You see that? The flattery of the tongue of a strange woman, man. Right? You won't be caught up into that. Right? Like how the brother was saying. A woman might come at you with a flattering tongue. She might even come to you spewing the Hebrew. She might say, Shalom Bihawa Ba Shindy Hawa Shabarakata. And say some other Hebrew thing. You might damn, all right. So she knows the Hebrew, bro. Hey, but guess what, bro? At the same time, it could all be flattery of the tongue, you know? Let's go to verse 25. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with thine her eyelids. So there's always the, damn, right? With your wife, bro. It's like the fans, like two fans, right, bro? Like the hand fans, It's like the don't let her take where their eyelids. Hey, and the Lord put that in there. So the eyelids, because that plays a major role. If you see a woman with no eyelids, then you know it's not really what I'm trying to say is the eyelids play a big part in, the beauty of a woman, just like her hair. You know what I'm saying? Like the hair, what I'm saying? The face, of course, the body structure, the eyelids, right? If you see a woman with no eyebrows and no eyelids, then, it, it's not going to look normal, but calm, right? It's all off, right? It's all off. Don't let it take you with the eyelids, man. Just the looks, you know? And that's also how certain brothers can get caught and snared it up into that, right? And now, you gotta lay down with that woman and I don't know, bro, but brothers would do that. Lay down with a woman just a month after courting her. Just a month, brother. A month is nothing. You still don't know her like that. Stop deceiving yourself, right? You really don't know her. A month is not long enough. And boom, you just lay down. Now you're sealed. Don't you realize the act that you have just committed? You have just and we'll look at it at a business perspective. You have just purchased that land. You can't sell it. Brother trying to sell. Brother trying to sell. You can't sell it, man. Once you buy that position, you buy that field, you can't sell it. A brother said, "Oh, you trying to sell that?" It's like, yeah, I bought it. It's not really what I'm looking for, so I'm gonna go ahead and sell it to you. How much do you want it for? I'll take it for about 500. All right, cool. It's sealed. No, you can't sell your wife, man. You can't ship her away somewhere. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Okay. Brothers trying to ship their wives away. One way ticket to damn Hawaii, right? That's madness, right? This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, and verse number. I'm gonna start at verse 5. It says, "Defraud you not the other, except to be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency." So that's called how they say in the world, taking a break. You might have to take a break in a relationship, man. Because things not working out, tension in the household, etc., etc. So you may have to take a break. But guess what? You have to come together again. That Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. And when you guys are away, you have to give yourselves into fasting and prayer. You don't just go away. You leave as a man, you leave the household. You didn't leave the house for a whole week because you go flee to damn Hawaii somewhere and just live it up and never come back. That's not what the Lord is saying, right? You have to come together again, because guess what? What the Lord had put together, let no man put asunder. That's Mark chapter 10. You can't put that asunder, man. Once you lay down with that woman, and a woman, once you lay down with that man and seal that marriage, guess what? You can't take that apart, man. So that's why we have to be taking this very, very seriously, right? I'm gonna skip down, right? I'm gonna skip down to verse 10. It says, "And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband." And you have a lot of women, they want to leave their husbands, you know? Well, he he doesn't really teach me like this one brother. He's not that good of a teacher. What the hell? What the hell, huh? Well, yeah. It's like, the sisters they talking, yeah, well, my husband, yeah, he's all right in the precepts. He's all right. Well, you can't break down Revelation 13 by yourself. You can't break down Daniel 11. You know what I'm saying? And I say this not to boast, but I say this but for comeliness, because essentially, you might have women say, "Ah, well, he doesn't really teach me like this one, brother. I really want to get with this brother." No, that's madness. That's off, right? Let not the wife depart from her husband. But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. So vice versa. Husbands, they can't put away their wives, man. No matter how hard the situation might become, you know, they can't do it. And that's what the Lord said, right? Save for the cause of fornication. If you put away your wife, except for any other cause, and save fornication, then you're going off under Yahweh shot, you know. But
I appreciate with that,
uh,
Romans chapter 7, verse 2. For the woman which hath a husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. So the only way you can leave your husband is if he die. That doesn't mean you go get an axe. You kill him in his sleep, man. You go get that kitchen knife, the big one, the sharp one, the big sharp one. Then when he falls asleep, you go to him and you slit his throat, man. That's what you don't do. If
so
he dies, like the ball, the Lord smote him, and Abigail became David's wife in righteousness, man. Right? You shouldn't be leaving your husband and go pillow talk with another man. Next thing you know, you getting popped. Right? That's going off. You being an adulterer. Verse 3. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. You see that? So if your husband die, you have two choices: become a widow, like Judith, or you can marry to another man. That's righteousness. But your husband's still alive. You're not really feeling him. You kind of move out the apartment, move out the house. You go get your own place. I gotta take a break. I can't do this right now. And things of that nature. You go. You live with another man or something, and he start going into you. Every time he goes into that other man goes in onto you, you're committing adultery. Every time you're spending time with that man, you're committing adultery, and you're going off, man. Are you going off? Let me get this precept real quick too. The classroom real quick. Matthew 19. And this really ties into the law, but that's why the Lord said, before I get this, man, because a lot of people try to say your house shall contradict the law. No, man, you didn't have no understanding at all. You do it. Hey, man.
you do
You
air
err not knowing the scriptures, man. This is the
Lord of
book of
God.
Matthew, chapter 17. And I'll start at verse, let me see, verse 5, and it reads, while he yet spake, let's go into the transfiguration when Peter, James, and John went up to the mountain with Yahweh. Verse 5, while he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, this is my beloved son. I'm going to start at verse 4, Salakia. I'm going to start at verse 4. I'll start at verse 3. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias, which is Elijah, talking with them. Now, why would it appear? Why would it be Moses, Yahushua, and Elijah in the transfiguration? Because Moses represents the law, and Elijah represents the prophets. But the thing is, the reason Yahushua, he's both. He is the law and he is the prophet, man. Right? I'm gonna jump down back to verse 5. While he just spake, behold, a broad cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, this is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. You see that? So the Lord said, don't worry about Moses, don't worry about Elijah, worry about my son, man. Hear him. Things of that nature. So that's why I'm gonna go to Matthew chapter 19, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. I'll start at verse 3, and I read, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Because when you read Deuteronomy, you can put away your wife. I believe that's Deuteronomy 25 and verse 1 on down. You can put away your wife for anything. She don't know how to cook, I'm going to put her away. She don't know how to clean, I'm going to put her away. Right? But let's see what the Lord says, though. Let's keep going. And it reads, and he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Right. So, hey, the man, and when you get married, you're really not supposed to be in your own household. You gotta get your own house, man. You gotta get your own house. Like Abraham, he moved to another country in this thing, man. You gotta get your own household. So, you and your wife can get married, decently in order. Right. Verse 6, wherefore there are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God have joined together, let not man put asunder. So, you get married to somebody, hey, don't look for every cause to try to depart from that. The Lord brought y'all together for a reason. You gotta stay with that, man. Don't be committing adultery and popping other people and dealing unjustly. Verse 7, they said unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so, but it's the point. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery, and whoso married her, which is put away, doth commit adultery. So if you put away your wife for anything because she just don't know how to cook, you don't like her no more, and you get with another wife unjustly, you committing adultery. And then if someone gets with that wife you put away unjustly, they commit adultery too, man. So you just start a fire in Israel out of nowhere for no reason. And all that blood is going to be upon your own head, man. That's why you got to take your time and prove these people, prove these sisters and brothers. Because a sister, she can say, yeah, I'm not married, I'm a virgin, and things of that nature. And whole time, she got ran through by 7 different men, and things of that nature. And you don't even know it. She tells you after you lay down with her. And you just committed adultery and you didn't even know it. So you got to prove these people, man. But
Right.
Con, you got it, Ken.
Yeah, calm, man. Calm. That's right. You gotta prove, asking questions. Because remember, I like to see it as a business operation. When you get married, it's literally a business because like how this ties into the video as well. When you get a wife, you what? Beginneth a possession. So you're literally buying, or like not literally with real money, but in a sense, you are buying a thing that's going to belong to you, right? It's going to be your possession. So let's get this precept. Sirach chapter 26, like how going on to what the brother's saying. Sirach chapter 26, you know, verse 19. My son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock. So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent. You see that? So the Lord said, when you find a good, fruitful possession field, slakia, fruitful possession through all the field. Remember, you're like buying a piece of land. If you want to buy a piece of land, you have to prove that land to see if it's worthy. If it is it going to bring forth fruit. If you plant seeds in it, it's going to bring forth fruit. Is it good soil? You know what I'm saying? You might walk over it, touching it. You know what I'm saying? You might be touching it. Okay. It feels good. Feels good. Planted, seems like fertile ground. Is it brown? You know what I'm saying? Does it feel nice? You don't want to buy a possession of field and it's just all sand. Why would you buy that? It's just all sand. That's it. You can't grow anything, you know? Or would you rather have a possession or a field, right, that's full of good soil, right? So come, right? That's what you want to have. And same thing with a car. Before you buy a car, because this is a big financial operation. Before you buy a car, right? Salaki. Before you buy a car, you want to prove that car. You want to hop into the car, test the steering wheel, see if it works. Check the gears. Okay, it's turned on good. Okay, does drive good? You know what I'm saying? Checking the windshield wipers, right? The emergency lights, the emergency brake. If you don't want to buy a car, the damn emergency brake doesn't even work. Kind of can't even pull it up, man. You know, or or the car, it doesn't even start, man. Cause it's, kind of pressing the button is like it doesn't even start. It takes that like 7 tries to even start it. Who really wants that car? So you have to prove, just like with that, you have to prove these women, asking them questions, seeing how they operate in certain situations. Where's their knowledge at? Where's their mind at in the last days? You know. So come, that's right. And also, I want to get this real quick because when you go into Sirach chapter 26, it goes into the duality of a virtuous woman and a wicked woman, right? So let's go to this real quick. Sirach chapter 26 and verse number 7. It says, the evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. So if you have an evil wife, it's like you have a scorpion in your hand. Because scorpions have poison. So if a scorpion hits you with that poison, it's going to slowly seep into your bloodstream, affect you. Now you're feeling nausea. Now you're feeling all this type of pain. And it's going to slowly kill you for a certain poison of scorpions. So the same thing with a wicked woman, a wicked wife is going to slowly kill you. Each day is killing you because she's wicked, man. She's not listening. She's bucking up against you, calling you nigga, right? She's not doing as he says. Hey, on the flip side, if you have a virtuous woman, a Proverbs 31 woman, your days shall be double, as the Lord said. Because she's going to be there for you, being a helpmeet unto you, washing your feet, massaging you, right? Doing everything, ministering unto you, doing everything that she can for you, But, Khan, I'm going to read down to verse 9. A drunken woman and a gatherer abroad causeth anger, and she should not be covered, and she will not cover her own shame. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids, right? And we went into that as well. And I'm going to skip down to verse 26 and I'm going to pass it, right? It says, a woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. So a woman that honors her husband, she's going to be judged wise of all. That's a wise wife right there. That's a wise woman that honors her husband. And it says what? But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. So you don't want to be counted ungodly if you're a woman, to disobey and dishonor your husband. Because that, again, that is your head. That's like, hey, what would happen if we dishonored Yahweh, man? Right? Yahweh told us, you know what I'm saying? If Yahweh came to our house and said, come forth, and I will sit and come forth and serve me, right? Make me bread that I shall sup. Hey, what is the brothers gonna do, man? What would brothers do? We saying, here we go, right? All right, I guess. We're not gonna say, all right, I guess, man. We're gonna minister on to Yahweh Shah. Just like Peter. Peter said, Lord, I'll follow thee whithersoever thou goest, man. Even unto death, roughly paraphrasing. Peter was down for the Lord. Peter said, thou shalt never wash my hands and my feet. Hey, I should be washing your feet, Lord. That's how Peter was reacting, man. I should be washing your feet. I should be ministering unto you. Let me minister unto you. So how they elect, remember the elect. So let me get this precept. Song of Solomon 1 and 4. Right. It's the book of Songs, chapter 1 and verse 4. Right. It says, draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee. You see that? So the elect, they're running after the Lord. You see that? Running after it. Draw me, we will run after thee. And this is the elect. They love the Lord, man. The women, right? The 10 virgins of the Lord, if you have ears to hear, they love the Lord. And will minister unto him and do anything that he says. Because you got a cake.
Yeah, I can get these two real quick. 2 Samuel chapter 17. At the end of the day, man, you want a man who can hold it down, and man, you want a sister who can hold it down in righteousness. Not like the couple in Acts chapter 5 and verse 1 on down, but in righteousness, man. That's what marriage is all about, holding each other down. This Second Samuel chapter 17 and verse 18, and it reads, "Nevertheless, a lad saw them and told Absalom, but they went both of them away quickly and came to a man's house in Bahurim, which had a well in his court, and they went down." So these two men, they was running away, to go tell David, basically a messenger to tell David what's happening in the city, because David fled from Absalom. So there was like his eyes in this thing, right? There was like a spy, basically. Um, Verse 19, and it reads, "And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth and spread ground corn thereon, and the thing was not known." Right? So, hey, this woman hid them, man, because if they would have been found, they would have been put to death. So, they ran to this woman, and this woman hid them. Verse 20. And when Absalom's servants came to the woman to the house, they said, "Where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan?" And the woman said to them, "They be gone over the brook of water." And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. You see how this woman held it down for them, man, looking out for their souls and righteousness. Rahab did the same thing. You got to do that and hold your husband down. You see that he's fighting these demons, man. You got to be that pillar of rest. You see that all hell's breaking loose, man. You got to protect him in this thing too, in righteousness, and not like a man got your sword. He's crying on your chest. You pounding him. Got one sword in the other hand and stuff like that. No, in righteousness, man. Don't be a nigga in this thing. Right. Let me get one more. Right. Even Sarah was obedient to Abraham plan, being subtle. Like I said before, you gotta have discretion. You gotta have subtlety in you. You can't be simple. Things of that nature. You gotta be wise in this thing. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 12, and verse 11. "And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said to Sarai, his wife, Behold, now I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon." So, hey, Abraham knew what he had, man. You gotta know what you got in this thing. Salakia. You gotta know what you got. You got a nice looking woman in this thing. You already know people gonna look at her. You know what I'm saying? Right? Verse 12. "Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive." So he's saying, hey, if they see you, man, they go and kill me just so they can take you to wife. Verse 13. "Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall love because of thee." You see that? When you going down, that's what she did. She did that, man. She listened to Abraham being using subtlety. And really, they didn't lie. They didn't lie at all. So let me get this preacher real quick, man. Yeah, Abraham knew how to move in wisdom. A lot of Jake is simple in this thing, man. They simple. They don't know how to use subtlety. David knew how to use subtlety, man. Jacob and Isaac and Jacob know how to use subtlety. You gotta know how to use subtlety in this thing. And so for you sisters, you can't be simple. You cannot be simple. Um, Barry, let me see if I can get this real quick. I think it's in this is the book of Genesis. I can't find it. There. That's straight. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 20 and verse 10. And they did it. They did the same thing again. But Genesis 20 and verse 10. "And Abimelech said to Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they would slay me for my wife's sakes. And yet, indeed, she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife." You see that? So they know how to use subtlety, and it was still righteous because they didn't lie. They didn't lie at all. They just knew how to make it fit perfectly to the point it was subtlety, man. But the whole point of the matter is the females they held it down. The Aquafim in this thing, they held it down, man. So you sisters and brothers in this thing, hold it down. But King, that's all I got.
All praise to the Most High, man. But yeah, we're coming about almost 3 hours to the Spirit. All praise to the Most High. So at this time, unless you had more precepts on any of the stuff, you know, Okay, Con. I just had this last precept going into that, you know, obeisance, right? Let's go to the book of, um, real quick. Let's go to Hosea. Hosea chapter 2 and verse 14. It says, "Therefore, behold, I will allure her." Who is this talking? This is the Lord talking about Israel, right? "I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her." You see that? So sometimes you might have to speak comfortably unto your wife. You don't want to be an overly righteous man, and you all like this, with your wife. Sit down, right? Arise. Come forth, serve me, right? And you just all, damn Mr. Mighty Man all the time. It's okay to play with your wife. It's okay to, ease up, right? And love her as you love yourself. That's Ephesians 5, man. It's okay to do that. Hey, Isaac was sporting with his wife, in the book of Genesis. You can read that. And was Isaac off for doing that? No, of course not. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Women, they need attention. They need that, being the weaker vessel, right? So, I mean, but that's how the Lord set it up, and you might have to do that. So, just as the Lord, He said He's going to speak comfortably unto Jerusalem, and I'll give her vineyards from thence, in the valley of Achor for a door of hope, and she shall sing there, and in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be in that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me, Ishi. Ishi meaning my husband, right? And shall call me no more Baali, which means my Lord or my master. See, there's a difference. You don't want to be a tyrant in your household, right? And you're like this, sitting upon a throne. And you always have every night you have her to you have her to put you on a crown like this. You know what I'm saying? And you just sitting in your household like that, you know, all high and mighty. Come on now, right? Thou shalt call me no more Baali, my master. Because the way you treat your master is different than, let's say a husband. You know what I'm saying? Because even though your husband is your head and your Lord, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to, treat you like a master might treat a servant, you know, or how a master might treat a damn slave, dealing harshly, like how Sarah dealt harshly with her handmaid, Hagar, you know. Hey, that's funny, but that's how our foremothers got down, right? They didn't care about the heathen, huh? Right? But it's like I had another one quick one. It escapes me. It escapes me at this time. Damn. But yeah, Khan, you got it, King. If you had another precept on that, otherwise you can close up.
I got a closing precept though.
Okay, Khan, you got it.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, and verse 18. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. So you men out there, rejoice with the wife of thy youth, man. What the brother's going into. Don't be a lord, a dang lion in your household, beating on your chest. You all austere. Every second you austere, man. And things of that nature. And how would you feel if your house was like that with you, man? You want him to speak comfortably to you, be
Right.
cool with you and everything like that, man. Same thing with you, man. To your woman, and you woman, be subject unto your husbands, man. Be meek and sincere in this thing, right? Verse 19. Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. And that's plain upon tables. There's no in-depth breakdown on that,
Right.
right? Verse 20, and why would thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger? So don't be caught in a strange women, man. Be patient. For men and sisters out there, be patient. Prove one another, man. Be sincere and ask the Lord to guide and direct your paths uprightly, man. Let me get one more precept, Salaki. Let me get one more. Because the Lord said he will give every needful thing in due season. Don't force it. If you try to force the course of the river, Hey man. Hey, guess what? You're gonna jam yourself up. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna wonder why you're in that position. Well, brother, you try to force it, man. When the Lord told you to be patient. That's like Samuel. Samuel and Saul. Samuel said, I will be here in 7 days. Do not make a sacrifice until I get here. And guess what he did? He forced it and did that sacrifice, and he went off, man. And the kingdom of heaven was rent from him. So don't force it, man. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 33. All the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season. And that's plain upon tables, man. But Con, you got it, King.
Right. Plain. It's plain. I got my closing as well. God, those are beautifully brought out. Let's go to Ephesians 5 and hey, this whole thing. But come. I'm gonna start with 28 and skip down. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. So you don't hate your own flesh. Just like how you dress yourself, you make yourself look good. You know what I'm saying? You'll wash yourself. You attend to yourself. Make sure yourself is eating. Make sure you're of good health and state of the body. Hey, just how you love yourself, you have to love your wife, and vice versa. You know, it says, For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. You are literally one flesh. So if you love your wife, basically, if you're one flesh, if you hate your wife, then you hate yourself, man. Because you guys are one flesh now, right? If your wife hates you, guess what? She really hates herself because y'all are one flesh at this point, right? This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Mahashiach and the church. Verse 33. Here's a point. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. You see that? And that word reverence goes into what? Fear. You know? Just like how you fear a spider, you run away from him. Just like how you fear a bear in the wood, you might fear a lion. Guess what? You got to fear your husband. And fearing not in terms of like you actually scared of the man, but that you're scared to go off and offend that man. And so offending him, you shall offend Yahweh Shah, man. And you don't want to offend Yahweh Shah. And then sinning against your Lord, you don't want to sin against Yahweh Shah. Because you want to have that implication in your mind that if I go off, if I say the wrong thing, if I do the wrong thing, then I could be applicable according to the judgment of the Lord, because that is my head, right? You don't want to dishonor your head. So all praise to Yahweh by Shema Masha Kwabalaki Yahweh Shah, man. Lord willing, this video has been edifying through the spirit. This is Brother Yasha Allah.
Brother Abayu.
Coming back, y'all, yet another video through the spirit power Yahweh by Shema Masha Kwabalaki Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, everybody has a blessed Shabbat through the spirit, man. The one for tuning in for all that did. Kwame Allah. Shalom.
Mm.
Come on.